right, and welcome to our continuation from last time. This is titled The Seven Systems. Just as a recap, last time you guys had detected long-range electromagnetic emissions from a group of a stellar cluster of about 7 stars really close together. The electromagnetic radiation could have been evidence of broadcast technology, so you were heading that way to investigate, to see if there was new life and new civilizations on the planet. On the way there, you were drug out of warp by the ship's emergency systems because of a rogue planetoid. When you went down to investigate, the planetoid, or something on the planetoid anyway, seemed to respond with drones or robots of some kind. As you interfered with them, its response became progressively hostile. Ultimately, the team was beamed aboard after suffering some wounded with an emergency beam out. The shuttle was disassembled, and through the ship sensors, you saw it being taken down into the planet's surface. The ship was assaulted by a tractor beam, which Lieutenant Merrick ordered to be a phaser fired down along it, and so the emitter was destroyed. You guys got away. Commander Olos had managed to capture one of the droids and discovered that while it had some onboard programming that was fairly sophisticated, that it was actually receiving transmission through a quantum entanglement system. And then the captain decided that you guys were heading out to the star system again, after discovering that the planetoid was on course to pass through 3 of its systems' quote-unquote Goldilocks zones, and it picked up speed. So when last we left, you had just warped out heading for this cluster of 7 stars.
Until we reach the first system.
You're traveling at normal cruising speed of 6.5.
Warp 6.5.
Sorry about that. Old 20 went weird on me. Had to reload. So yes, Ensign Daly looks up and says, 124 standard hours at present speed, Captain.
Very good. Commander Harrison, is there any information on the systems we were heading to?
Do we have information on the systems?
You can certainly use the ship's long-range sensors. You are about 0.75 light years away when you went into warp. So you can give me a reason science assisted by the ship's sensor science.
Sensor operations as a focus?
Definitely.
Okay.
And Merrick, if you want to, you can give me a reason engineering assisted by ship's comms engineering if you're wanting to scan any communications frequencies and stuff like that.
I don't think we're going to get much out of this.
Well, you actually succeeded at the task, but there is a complication on the board.
Yeah.
So let me send you
Well,
something.
gotta roll the ship first.
Oh yeah, roll the ship. You might luck out. That'll be sensor science for the sensor scan roll.
Science sensors. Boom.
Okay.
First day on the job as science officer is a lot worse than my first day on the job as CMO.
So you gain 1 momentum. It is not enough to clear the complication. If you guys want to, in this case, I'll accept. In fact, I'm just going to take that complication as threat. 5 of you.
And then the next roll was for Merrick were comms engineering.
Are you wanting to make that scan, Merrick?
Yeah, I'll make the scan. I was just waiting to finish.
Sure.
Take a threat.
All right.
You go on the comp.
Okay.
There we go, ship.
Let me send the doctor something.
Now he officially just goes by commander since he's not the medical officer anymore.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
All right. So, Merrick, I'm seeing a total of 1,
5.
2, 3, 4 gained there. And I'll send you something.
okay, I think that's all quieted down now. Sorry, there was sirens going by.
It's okay.
Fortunately, due to interference, we're not able to get any accurate scans. There are several warp trails going between the 7 star systems.
So we can definitely assume that it's populated.
Or at least has a lot of traffic due to the nature of the stars.
Are you able to identify those warp signatures?
That'll be your science. Okay, you need to choose now if you want to have the science officer's superpower, which is a free question for information, or the first officer's superpower, which, off the top of my head, I don't quite remember. If somebody does, go ahead. I will find
They have rally and direct.
No, they have a roll superpower.
It's on the tip of my tongue, but I cannot think of it. It's something that they can do similar to the captain, but without the.
Yeah, they get access to direct, but they can also rally.
No, that's the combat task, but they have a position roll, kind of like the science officer gets a free question, medical officer has an advantage. Let me find it in the rule book here.
XO gets they can spend 3 momentum to give someone a point of determination. To succeed
Okay,
on the
yeah.
task.
Thanks, Prax. So yeah, you can either choose to do the science superpower or the exo superpower, and that's going to be what he has unless he in the future takes the dual role talent, which lets him do both.
For now, I'll have the science officer power, and then I'll
Okay.
get the dual role at some point.
Okay. So I will send you that information. That'll be your free question.
Whatever is causing these warp trails is not within our databases, so I can't get an accurate fix on them.
So we can assume a first contact situation then.
If they're still in system, potentially, or this could be a new kind of warp travel that a new kind of warp engine that one of the known species has created, or it could possibly be that the radiated bars is making them appear as if we don't have information on them.
Captain, subspace communication traffic is extremely dense. The majority seems to be using the same encoding frequencies, but I'm picking up a variety of different languages between the 7 systems up ahead.
Are you able to triangulate a position of this con traffic, the most concentration?
That will be a momentum or a roll, whichever you'd rather do.
We definitely have some momentum for that.
I'll spend the momentum for it, but
Okay.
there is a free question for.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was not aware of that.
I have to remember which one it is because it is a specific type of free question, though. It's.
I can never remember what page the
Anything is
rolls
on.
are. Yeah, basically anything. I gotta find my cheat sheet. It was misplaced.
Okay, communications officer. Blah, blah,
Okay,
blah,
it's
blah.
not. It's just difficulty. What was the difficulty?
Okay. Unfamiliar language or encryption. Ignore difficulty increase. Cool.
So I'll spend the momentum.
Okay.
Still having internet problems, Brennan?
Yup. Because my internet is currently based entirely off of hotspots, and that is dependent on wireless signals, and I live in a hole.
Yay.
Is it a hobbit hole?
No, it's just a point of lower elevation at sea level.
It's too bad, because if it was a hobbit hole, at least it'd be nice and cozy.
I don't mean to laugh, but I'm also in a hole.
Nah, it's just because the primary provider here refuses to get Wi-Fi.
Captain, both the intra and intersystem traffic is heavy, but the fourth stellar system seems to have the large amount of appears to be the official traffic going in and out of.
Go ahead and relay those coordinates to the con. I think that's worth checking out first.
Coordinates, Daily says, coordinates laid in, altering course for the fourth stellar system. Spinward.
Keep those sensors locked on that system. Let me know if anything changes.
So yeah, you've got about a day's worth of travel. It's getting towards the end of Alpha Shift. Is there anything else or any orders or anything anybody wants to give before move along, or if you've got any scenes or things that you might want to do, now is a good time.
And up the captain will just say keep the sensors locked on and keep monitoring the comms traffic.
I think I do one last scan and targeting the system that we found the most traffic on.
Okay, so give me a reason science assisted by ship sensor science. This will be difficulty. Or are you looking for anything in particular, or just trying to get some general information on?
Trying to get more general information on what we're going into.
Okay, difficulty 1 then.
Okay. Sensors operations as a focus.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to spend one of the momentum for a third die.
Okay. Okay, looks like you gain a momentum back.
Equilibrium.
Ship's kicking ass today.
What did it roll?
It's just giving us momentum back, basically.
It hasn't missed yet, but now that
Yeah,
I say that, it's not going to hit for the rest of the game.
It's going to turn against you now.
That's all right. Me and the ship have an understanding.
Yeah, you don't give us what we want, and give us what we want. Rather, you give us what we want, and I won't push you past warp 7 again.
But maybe it liked Warp 7.
It almost shook itself apart.
But maybe the ship liked it.
This seems like an abusive relationship.
Yes.
That was our first day on the job.
Had to know what the ship could do.
Let's break the ship.
Had to know what the ship could do.
Immediately after, 2 officers getting crushed by a cargo container, one of them dying.
God, I can't believe that you lost a red shirt before you even left.
Yeah, they had internal bleeding from.
I was not even on the ship
There
yet.
wasn't much I could do at that point. I did my best to stabilize them to get them to the sick bay, but
The captain was not
able to
officially.
be moved.
The captain was not officially put in command yet.
I think the commander was in command at that point. First
Is that-
commander.
Yeah, I think so. I think you are correct.
You are absolved.
We've been in space not even a year, and we've had 3 commanders so far.
And like I said, I wanted to reenact the down periscope scene, and so I did.
Definitely did that.
It's a really good movie if you guys haven't seen it. I
Which
recommend it. Down Periscope with Kelsey Grammer.
I haven't seen that one.
It's really good.
I enjoy submarine movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the whole premise is he's commanding an old diesel submarine, trying to in like a war game, trying to beat the modern Navy. It is a comedy, but it's still really
It's
good.
kind of like MASH mixed with Airplane. It's really good.
Yeah. Oh, you know the scene I'm talking about then.
Yeah.
So I do actually have a question that I just realized. We have a Vulcan doctor. They must be from like the they must not be with Starfleet then.
Necessarily, since it's post Federation.
He could be with Starfleet. I think he's intending to be with Starfleet. He came out of the Vulcan medical service.
Yeah, I came out and then I joined
'Cause
after a long career. I then joined into the Federation. Once they combined, I joined into the Federation.
Oh, sorry, I hadn't realized you joined. I didn't think you were going to make it today. Awesome.
I said I was a bit late.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Okay, sorry.
They waved in the Roll20.
Yeah.
Because I thought
My
it was like a whole
informal
thing that
name
Spock was
between
supposed to
the-
be first.
Bridge crew would be Dr. Spock.
Technically, there is beta canon that Paul default became a captain in Starfleet, so she would have joined at some point.
Huh.
Yeah, it's not that Vulcans are completely absent from Starfleet. Just very few of them tend to join. They, especially after the discovery of Sarek's true teachings and Vulcan's dismantlement of its military fleet, most Vulcans who want to go into the space service tend to go through the Vulcan scientific service, which is basically how Vulcan helps out the Federation and the space services. Is they still maintain a very, very minimally armed scientific fleet.
Yeah, how I was thinking was I went through that before the Federation was made.
That
I got
works.
through it all before.
So no Vulcan commandos. Got it.
We hope.
We don't know.
Do
To be the
you,
most efficient.
does Sorrel like to go by Doctor or Lieutenant Commander?
By the bridge, by the senior staff doctor, by the rest of the crew, Lieutenant Commander.
Okay. I'll do.
Slightly different from what Harrison did. Harrison was always commander. Go by doctor.
It's more to show respect to the bridge crew, to the fellow senior staff.
Sure. All right. Do you want to be on the bridge currently, or down in sick bay, or where do you wish to be?
Is there anyone in sick bay that would need shooting?
No.
At least
What?
Osborne would still be in sick bay unless we've jumped forward.
Yeah, he's treated. He's just being kept for observation, but he's fine. You have on staff another full doctor and one experienced nurse.
Then I would probably be on the bridge.
Okay. So I will leave your token just kind of floating here in the doctor's traditional
Osborne
spot.
just
Well, yeah, that's
Osborne
where
just
Harrison always
spend
stood.
the next few days just consistently grumbling, just robots.
So, but yeah, Osborne will be back on duty next Alpha shift. So in time for the arrival in the system.
Why would you even put a disruptor on a robot?
In case somebody shoots at the unarmed robots.
This is some information for you guys out of character. I'm very good at math. I've done most of pre-calc in my head. Very little of I've actually written down on
Nice.
paper.
Excellent, because I'm not very good at math, so I may lean on your skills.
Hey, I'm
Yeah.
good at math too. I took Calc 3.
I haven't
Well, I
done
didn't know that,
well.
or I would have been leaning on yours. So,
Never lean on me for math.
Yeah.
I haven't
I
done
failed
that
math
well.
every
I
year.
started the advanced math in 7th grade, which is the earliest in my school you could.
Nice. Yeah, I only took so high of math because I decided that I was gonna be a physics major.
And I'm actually done with my math this year.
nice.
We should get back on track.
I have 4.
We're gonna spiral
sure.
on. This is all getting put in the video.
Yeah. So, is there anything you want to do? Any orders you want to give? How do you plan to enter the system or systems? Although you're heading for one particular one.
Well, the how would just be on the, just in one of the warp paths. One of the kind of blend in a little bit.
Okay, so are you going to attempt to? I mean, I guess what I'm asking is, are you just going to show up and go, "Hi, we're Starfleet," or are you going to try and kind of get it?
Probably. When we could get to close sensor range, probably scan it from there, and then if everything looks good, then go ahead and warp in the system.
Okay. So yeah, you should reach that point by the beginning, shortly after the beginning of Alpha Shift tomorrow. So, does anybody have any scenes they'd like to run or anything? If not, I'm going to just fast forward to that point.
Now we can
So,
jump to
am
that.
I the new doctor of the ship, or
You're my replacement.
Right. Fundamentally, there's no real way in game to do this. So the studio just recast and is hoping that everybody
No
will
one
noticed.
Right.
He was the second shift lead.
Right.
Right off as that.
Right.
On the ship
He
the
was.
entire time.
The doctor was transferred aboard during the rendezvous with the Vulcan ship.
Right. And he's
Yeah.
been working head of second shift, and now, now you've become CMO.
yeah? Then say I am the new. As you probably know, I'm the new doctor. If you
Right.
need any help for something, just come down to me.
And as for the old XO, kicked out the airlock.
Wow.
So don't break regulations, Harrison.
I mean, if we have to do some Battlestar Galactica here.
I
That's
mean,
right.
I didn't kick him out. He voluntarily went out the airlock. I mean,
Walked
I can't
out.
stop him.
Walked out.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Harrison is probably not the best to be put in charge of first contact missions. Then
He
All right.
went out. He went out the airlock. Didn't tell anyone, and the ship just continued on.
All right. So if nothing else, we'll just go on to the next morning. We'll get Osborne back on the bridge here. Olos, are you in engineering, or are you on your engineering station at the bridge?
Should be still in engineering. The last thing I was doing was checking out that robot.
Okay. Is there anything else you wanted to do? You had discovered that it had a pretty advanced, internal programming, but it was also being controlled externally through a quantum entanglement system.
Not currently. Later, I'll probably try or figuring out where the origin is.
Okay. So you want to be on the bridge at the start of the next shift?
Yes.
Okay. Get you there. All right. So everybody's at their normal stations, and we will fast forward to the next day. Shortly after the beginning of the shift, Ensign Daly says, "Exiting warp at the edge of the system, sir."
Where is the spot for the doctor?
Exactly where you're standing. There is no actual station.
Yeah, we're kind of, closer to the original series
If
than
the captain's
anything else.
ever not on the bridge, you can take Harrison Station when he's sitting in the big chair. Other than that, you just stand around and look pretty.
All right, let's
So-
go ahead and get all the scans we can of the system. Let's see if we could get some detailed comms traffic, see what they're talking about.
Okay. Pretty much the same kind of information I sent you a minute or two ago, Harrison. I'll give you something, Merrick, if you want to. If you tell me if you're wanting to do like a general comms traffic scan or if you're trying to achieve something specific.
I would like to start analyzing the different languages that are coming up.
Okay, perfect. So what you'll need to do is kind of, you're going to have to kind of eavesdrop, and a lot of these there's a lot of unencrypted communications going back and forth, obviously pretty civilian commercial entertainment kind of stuff, or with that level of encryption that's not difficult for you to listen in on, that you can kind of supplement what's going on. So give me a, let's call this one reason science, but assisted by the ship's communications engineering. And we're going to make this difficulty 2.
Xenolinguistics for a focus.
Yes.
Take a threat for a bold science.
Very good.
Rerunning the comp.
Okay, so very well done. You have managed to lock in, you think, enough data on two specific languages that you think you've got enough data to kind of start working on separating out, sussing out, and building a kind of language database on. That's going to be, building that database is going to be an extended task. And I did not load up your fancy new graphic yet, so sorry. And that's going to be difficulty 3, magnitude 2, work 15, resistance 2. And it's going to be this is more linguistics kind of task, so I'm going to call it reason science, assisted by the ship's computer science.
One threat, 2 momentum means spent.
Okay. Nice. So that looks like 3 momentum gained. And roll your challenge dice.
Spending 1 to reroll.
Okay.
count 8 total work with resistance.
Alrighty, so that brings it down to Diff 2, Mag 1. 8 from 15 is what, math majors?
That would be 7.
Work 7, and the resistance is still 2.
Take a threat.
Okay.
Roll it into complication. Oh,
So how last night's game was, I think the first 3 rolls were all complications.
that's
Yeah, it sounds about right.
The first roll had 3 complications in it.
Oh my god.
So 2 float.
Alrighty. Yep, 2 floats. Roll your challenge dice.
Well, that happened on Tuesday with the Kismet, where our science officer rolled like 2 complications, spent their determination to re-roll the 2 complications, still wound up with a complication, used their cautious to re-roll that complication, and got another complication. It was like 4 20s in a row. It was stupid.
1 for piercing, 1 for extra work.
All right, and I think that will complete the task.
No, that's unless
It's
kind of
7.
that's 6.
A total of 7 more work. So
Right, but that's another breakthrough, and it was only magnitude 1 left, so
Okay.
yeah. So let me...
If you need me to roll anything, I might need someone else to roll for me. I can't seem to get Roll20 to load.
Sure thing. And there you go, Prax. So yeah, Harrison and Merrick, you've got the information you need to make any reports you want to.
Okay. Captain, I have found several interesting worlds within the systems. There is at least 1 Class L and 1 Class M planet, as well as the 4th planet. This planet is very heavily developed. There are many stations and the like in orbit around the planet, and there are moons that have been heavily developed as well. Further scans, I can't tell how advanced beyond warp travel they are, but they are clearly quite advanced.
To colonize multiple worlds in an entire system, I would agree. Any luck on their communications yet, Lieutenant?
I've isolated 2 distinct languages. It would appear that they call this world Orza, and the primary language is Orzilian. While they have another, well, I guess, a sub-language called Corellia. They use it for other lingo.
Have you been able to determine what they're communicating about?
I only isolated open comm frequencies, Captain. So mainly a lot of it seems to be commercial in orientation.
So a potential trade hub?
It seemed that way, sir.
Were there any that were encrypted?
There are, Doctor. However, the might be a breach, and they might find it offensive.
Chief Osborne, have you been able to detect any military-style ship patrols and such?
I don't know. Have I?
What was that again?
GM?
Sorry, I was typing something to practice to.
I asked the chief if he's able to detect any like military-style patrol ships.
Give me reason security assisted by the ship's weapons security. I'm sorry, sensor security.
I'm gonna say weapon security.
Sorry, when it comes to security roles for ships, that's just so common. It slipped out.
What's our momentum at?
6. Do you want me to roll for you?
What's the difficulty?
1.
Oh, I'm just gonna spend 1 momentum just for the sake of the reroll.
Okay. You want me to roll for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Someone else is gonna have to roll for me. I can't get roll 20 to load.
Control security. Don't think you have a focus that will apply here.
Yeah, probably not.
It's actually reason security. Ooh, good thing you got the reroll. Oh wait, you got a third die, didn't you?
Yep. So you gotta roll 1 more.
There you go.
And you could probably re-roll 1 as well.
So you succeeded, gained 1 momentum off of that from the ship's roll.
Okay. So we're back where we started.
Yeah.
With more information.
That's right.
Yes. And we'll see whether or not I pick up anything. I assume you're typing up a response.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which means we asked for information he was not prepared for.
We always do.
Well, yeah, and honestly, a lot of stuff I've just stopped trying to figure out what you guys will ask, and just I'm just gonna try and type it as I go because you always there's no point.
Anticipate one thing. We actually go
so
2 steps away from that and down the road.
Right.
So you've subscribed to my method of giving players information.
I think it's the only survivable way to do it.
Oral is legally cloning himself.
Oh, here we go. Detecting minor military traffic. I'd probably put this on the level of more of an internal system security patrol as opposed to an actual military. Perhaps something on the level of a small militia.
Your threat assessment, Chief.
I would say peaceful, but ready to fight back if need be. I don't see this. Actually, yeah. What would be the actual tactical lineup? Yeah, lots. Okay, yeah. I mean, we wouldn't want to go up against them all at once, but any individual ship wouldn't be a particular match for our firepower.
All right, thank you, Chief. Well done. All right, Ensign, take us in nice and slow.
Aye, sir. Moving in at impulse. And you move into the system. After you're moving in at impulse for about half an hour. Merrick, give me a control engineering difficulty 1 assisted by the ship's comms engineering. Osborne, give me a reason security assisted by ship's sensor security. Difficulty 1 as well. Yes.
What am I rolling?
Reason security assisted by sensor security again.
Okay.
Diff 1.
Yep, I'm gonna need someone to roll that for me, and I'll spend a moment
Okay.
for a third die and a reroll.
All right. Looks like you gained 3 total with the help of the ship.
Go ship.
Yeah, ship's doing really well today. Early on when you don't really need it.
As soon as we get into some kind of fight, it's going to turn on us.
I trust my ship.
All right, let me type you guys out some stuff.
Yeah, of course.
Welcome to the Aurora, where we spent half the game waiting for the GM to type out a message.
Well,
Sounds about right.
that makes me feel good. I appreciate that. It's been a hard week. Thanks for just putting the cherry on it.
Anytime.
I like this
Oh.
format. It gives players more RP to do.
Yeah, and seriously, while I'm typing stuff, you guys are always welcome to RP and converse on the bridge.
I mean, to be fair, it took me 5 minutes to type something last night. I had to type out a manifesto that I didn't have prepared.
Oh no.
Oh
Wait,
yeah,
what-
We be concerned.
the expedition was facing a galaxy-ending crisis last night.
Oh, fun.
Don't worry,
What
the
kind
universe
of
is fine.
The universe didn't end.
I mean, my
Oh,
log's
great.
full of nothing but redacted, redacted, and redacted that's coming out.
Jesus.
All I could really say is Omega life forms.
Oh God. Did Omega just flash
Okay.
across the screen?
It
Nope,
did not
nope.
actually.
Good. So it wasn't that bad.
Did you have to
Oh, it was.
directive?
But with Omega without the Omega symbol flashing. It was,
It was
unknown
the-
Omega.
It was the amino acids that kind of confused us. What was that, Doctor?
It was out of character.
I think we were kind of talking over you a bit.
Yeah, it was out of character anyway.
All right, you should both have them.
Captain?
Chief?
Some of the patrol ships in the outer system appear to have changed course. They're now on an intercept course on our position. They have not increased speed.
They suggest we hold position and wait for them to arrive, otherwise we might provoke them further.
Any comms traffic this way, Lieutenant?
It's the comms traffic seems to there was a big increase and then it suddenly decreased with a sudden tighter encryption on all official channels that they appear to be using.
And just as you give that report,
Give it incoming hail.
Go ahead, put it on screen.
All right, and on screen, you see this gentleman appearing. He appears to be in some kind of office with a large picture window or port behind him of a highly advanced city that you see there in the background. And he says, and the universal translator that Merrick has set up is able to lock on to him. He's speaking Orzelian. Unidentified starship. This is Premier Irke TV of the Seven Systems Alliance. We welcome you to our system. I'm sending you language database and communications protocols. And he touches something out of your site.
How did you say that name again, GM?
It's Premier Irke TV. TIVI.
Premier, I am Captain Vogel of the USS Aurora. Thank you for your warm welcome. We are here on a peaceful exploration mission.
Ah, wonderful. Please allow me to invite you to visit us on in our capital city. It'll be on the fourth planet, which we call Orzel, the city of Susnal. This is a great pleasure. We don't. It has been a long time since we have received visitors from other species. My people will be overjoyed. I'll send you coordinates to the council's landing pad now, and you get those too, Mikra. Merrick, sorry.
We have received the coordinates, Premier. I look forward to meeting you in.
As do I, Captain. As do I. And the communication is cut.
Ensign, take us in very, very slowly.
Aye, sir.
Lieutenant, get deciphering what they sent us.
Captain, I take it you'll be going down to the planet's surface?
That is correct, Chief.
Right. What security arrangements would you like me to make?
I don't want to show too much show of force here. Although I do want us to be cautious. Just in case I'm being a little paranoid, he did seem really eager to meet us. Hopefully it's just their species good-natured.
Of course.
So yeah, so Ensign Daly, go ahead and take us in 1/4 thrusters, please, until we are able to decipher that information cache.
I think I'm almost back.
I think I've got, yeah, there it is.
GM, the last thing you sent to me, I believe that go to the science officer.
It's all part of the cultural database. Do you want me to send that to him instead? Because you're kind of sending whatever to wherever. Or do you want me to share it with him as well?
I'll send it to him.
Okay. And the last thing in parentheses there are the species names that you're dealing with, or the system names rather. The one you're in is the second one. So yeah, daily is takes you into the system. As you move in there, you see the gas giant has several moons. Lots of moons, many of which have been developed one way or another. They're stations in orbit of various planets. This does seem to be a highly developed system. And you pretty easily, daily, as she's piloting in, Merrick and Daly work together. You're routed into a kind of priority government traffic lane through the system because it is pretty busy, and assume a standard orbit around the fourth planet, which is Class M. Very heavily developed, although they seem to have maintained a good amount of wilderness kind of area. Lots of orbital stations and habitats. Has 2 moons.
I'm back. I had to go and let my dogs out.
Okay.
Right. This is one of the most built-up systems I've ever seen.
Indeed. Comparable with the Sol system.
I know. I think this might be even more built up than Sol. The sheer number of orbital stations and lunar outposts is amazing. Is there technology on par with ours?
That'll be a science officer. You want to do some scans as you're coming in?
Do some passive scans, nothing too in depth.
So you're trying to get some pretty specific information upon their level of technology. So this will be Reason Science Diff 2, assisted by the ship's sensor science.
Wouldn't it probably be engineering if we're trying to determine their tech level?
Yeah,
Trying
that's
to get
true.
a scan too, yeah.
Yeah, so let's do Reason Engineering, assisted by ship's sensors engineering.
Or
Or Lieutenant Commander Olos could make that role.
have Olos do it. His is better than mine.
I mean,
Since
I
he's
could
on the bridge.
also. No,
You don't have a station. You have to take mine in order to do it.
I go.
So
I should go to the science office and say, "Do you need any help?"
It's the comm officer.
Within science.
I am.
that's science.
Harrison is the science officer.
So Olos, do you want to make that role? It's Reason
Yes.
Engineering, difficulty 2, assisted by ship's sensors engineering.
All right, Reason Engineering.
All right, and then if somebody grabbed the ships, there you go. So it looks like you have 1 floating momentum because I'm very kind GM, giving you all these easy rolls.
Ooh. That's why I created an area of space that gave +3 to almost everything.
Nice.
And there you go, Olos. I think I sent that to the right person.
Scanners are showing that most of their technology is pretty much at our level, though their warp engines are far away from ours. They're inferior by a great degree. They don't have the transportation capacity we do.
You have one floating you could use to get some more information. If not, or for something. If not, it'll go away.
You said that their warp engines were inferior to ours?
Yes, they are. They're quite a bit behind us in terms of warp technology. With that floating momentum, can we figure out if it's a matter-antimatter warp engine like ours, or if it's some different means?
With the information you have, I mean, you're not going to be able to really tell that. With the information you have, you could find out about how fast their maximum probably is.
Okay.
But without getting a real close look at an engine, you wouldn't be able to really tell if it was the same type of reaction.
Okay, let's try to estimate their maximum warp. Looks like the highest estimate we could get, or their highest level of warp, is going to be around warp 2.
So we should be able to outrun them if we need to.
I mean, as far as warp goes, we could turn circles around them. Everything else is pretty similar.
The original Enterprise could run circles around them.
There's just the one Enterprise right now.
Which original Enterprise?
Oh, you're talking about the space shuttle Enterprise.
The
warp travel.
The old wooden ship.
Yep. Actually, the NX-01 was retired from service after the Romulan War and is now in Earth orbit as a museum piece.
Cool. Oh, all right. I remember that. There is that whole thing, isn't there?
Yeah.
Picture in the command book of that. Like,
So,
space.
you're in orbit. Is there any other information you want to try to gather before heading down? I'm assuming you're heading down.
Yeah.
Let's get a composite. Let's get a position of their atmosphere, so know if we're going to get poisoned or not. I mean, it's class M, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the atmosphere is breathable for humans and other Federation species.
Sure. You can have this for a momentum, or it'll be a reason medicine assisted by sensors medicine for difficulty 1.
I would do that. I'll do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to go and get my dogs for barking.
Oh, you're good. So you want to roll reason medicine, assisted by Vogel will get the ship's sensors medicine.
Okay.
Difficulty 1.
Scan your sensor operations as a focus, and
All right, wait. Who's doing the roll?
I am.
I think no. Stop. Assisting in the roll.
Okay.
Harrison is making the roll.
Okay, so that means, Harrison, your sensors will apply. Lieutenant Commander Sorrel.
I have xenobiology and linguistics.
That wouldn't really help in the.
Yeah, I don't think so.
A atmospheric scan.
But you do get to assist, so just roll 1 die for the assist roll, and then the ship.
Well, medicine, I'm going to give you a threat for a 3rd die.
Okie dokie.
I got 3, but the connection is corrupted at the moment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe.
Have to reroll.
I haven't even seen your roll come up yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It was connection error. Rolled it without thinking on that. Log, I probably have to reroll. Yeah. Probably same roll.
Yeah.
The same thing. Yeah. It's gonna have the focus, gonna have the threat for the additional die.
Right.
The same results.
Excellent. So Sorrel just roll 1 die, reason medicine.
You already did.
Oh, so he did.
Yeah, he
My fault. So that's 2, 3, nothing from the ship. So you got 3 momentum floating. It is a standard Class M atmosphere. Lots of nitrogen, good bit of oxygen, trace elements therein. Should be no problem for anyone on the crew.
Okay. So, Harrison's also being doubly careful because of the last planet that we went to.
Right. So you've got 3 float, which are going to go away.
Being everything.
But 2 is enough to create some sort of advantage if you would like to.
Suggestions on an advantage for that? Quite no. Kind of advantage I would make.
Maybe preparing atmospheric suits or something for that.
Last time we don't need the suits.
And you can let it go. I just wanted to give you guys the option.
I just wanted to double check because of the plague planet that I just didn't want any surprises coming from the atmosphere. But there's no real advantage I would create for this kind of thing, so we'll just let it slide.
Okay. So who is going to the planet's surface?
So
I
gonna be
will...
Captain.
Okay.
I'd like to tag along.
So it'd probably be Captain, the Chief, Olos for the technology, Merrick.
I would probably be going. I probably should go in case someone gets caught on the away mission.
Oh yeah, I forgot Doctor as linguist too, because you said you did.
Harrison would remain aboard the ship. I'll take Frank's if he wants to pilot.
We all got piloting skills.
I don't.
I mean, that would be the character I would take since
I think my piloting
but I'd
skills
take
are
somebody else
marred.
if you.
Okay, so is the XO staying or going?
XO is staying aboard the ship.
Okay.
Do I bring both the doctor and Merrick is the question.
I will tell you now, just because I'm in a good mood. I have nothing planned for anything on the ship
All right, Merrick's coming.
at this point.
I will bring
From
Merrick
a
as well.
character standpoint, Harrison doesn't
Until we
wouldn't
ask the
see
right
the point of
question.
sending both the captain and him.
Okay. So which support are you going to take?
Well, I'd probably take Frank's, but
Frank's? Okay.
he's a pilot, so.
Okay. Alrighty.
Oh, so just one thing before we leave. I do want to get a estimate on how long that rogue planet is going to reach the system.
At the end of the last episode, it was accelerating at its previous speed of basically a quarter impulse. It would take it 3 years, but it has accelerated to 1/2 impulse, so it will take it 1.5 years to reach the first system that it's going to pass through.
And is that this one or not this one?
This is the second system it would pass through if it kept the same trajectory. There is a slightly closer one. You guys went to this one because it was where a lot of the official comms track was. There's a closer one that will pass through, or closer relative to the planetoid that it will pass through first. But it was if it keeps the same trajectory, it will pass through 3 of these right in the Goldilocks zone, and of course that's where you find the Class M planets.
Yeah, I just want that information to potentially relay.
Merrick, did you relay all the information you wanted to relay from the first contact database they sent you?
I gave it all to Harrison, so.
Okay.
My character has done first contacts before.
Okay.
Then we could probably prepare a little pad of information on the Federation species as well.
Yeah, you've got standard first contact data packets and all that stuff.
Yeah, we'll bring that.
Yeah.
Merrick would have all the information first, and she's obviously would have been relayed through her.
Right, but she, I think, relayed it to you as the science officer XO.
Yeah. She has it all, so she can just give a pad to the captain. Like, here you go. Here's everything you need.
Okay.
Cool. That's all I needed to make sure we had.
Does somebody want to send the captain the data? Or at this point, I think you can just put it in the chat for everybody, or I can. Just give me a second to copy paste.
I got it.
Okay.
Aha. And that's from what they sent you.
Yeah, it's a basic kind of, first contact. Here's a bit about our culture and society.
Well, I think we definitely came to the right system then.
Okay. So then we'll go to here. Or how to do this. Does that bring you all to where I am on the map?
Yep.
There we go.
I asked for diplomacy.
Very good. You might need it. So, all right, Franks. Exit the ship. You're heading into atmosphere, but as you're heading in, another craft, just going at insane speeds, kind of comes up and forces you to take evasive action, which sends the shuttlecraft into a spin. Give me a daring con difficulty of 3, complication range 2,
Okay, I am going
assisted by the shuttle's engines con.
I
such
have
as they are.
shuttlecraft as a focus, so
Yeah, very good.
I will use 3 of our momentum to get 4 die.
Okay.
Please don't crash again.
Again.
It's fine.
It's
You
fine.
say
We're in
that-
Shuttlepod. We're in Shuttlepod.
I can reroll. I'm gonna kill the complication.
Which
I can't
shuttlepod
reroll
are we in?
balance. I kill the comp. I got a 1.
Okay.
What shuttlepod are we in?
Do you have a
What
reroll?
else? This is a basic character. He doesn't have anything. This is his second activation.
She gets something.
Well, you can get something.
Give him cautious.
Give it cautious con.
Yeah, cautious. Cautious con.
And actually, the shuttle's engines saved you, astonishingly.
This is the captain's favorite Shuttlepod. Shuttlepod 3.
They're all the same because you guys haven't upgraded them, but sure, why not?
This is the one with the scars on its nose. It's fine.
Probably.
Now, I think that was Shuttlepod Run 1, which has now been
Oh, shuttlepod 1.
disassembled in
Yeah.
the planet. Of course, you had another one to replace it with, but you know.
Also, I just
Rip
wanted to point out the character that I actually made to fly ships is the one that's crashed twice.
Well, you didn't crash this time. You managed to wrestle it back under control.
Oh, do your reroll with cautious
Yeah.
Reroll with cautious. Okay.
Like,
And
it's like the.
before we forget.
I mean, it's like the Wharf effect, but for shuttles.
Yeah. So you got rid of the complications, so you can take 2 momentum back.
Then
So
we
yeah,
can
and it looks
do one.
like you gain 1 total. All right. So you make it to the planet's surface with no further. Sorry,
I mean,
no
did that-
further
did
trouble.
Did that ship come at us in like a malicious way, or was it just wasn't looking where they were going? And
Well, your character was kind of in the back seat and didn't really see exactly what happened, but it appeared to be more of a stupid hot rodding kind of incident, or somebody not filing a flight plan kind of thing. I'll give you this, that what looked to be like some sort of police or patrol vehicles
Equivalent of a drunk
quickly moved to intercept it as it left the atmosphere.
So kind of like a drunk drive or something.
Something.
No motor.
Let me. We'll go
Jesus,
to
it's the fuzz.
Pretty much, yeah.
Theater of the mind here. Let me get everybody on board.
Classic. Okay, let's not lose this.
Frank isn't
shuttle.
saying much, but he's got a big old grin on his face after doing that thing he lives for.
Okay, you guys can, position yourselves however you want to be, and then we'll put. Okay, Roll20, what are you doing there? Weird. All right, I'm gonna have to reconnect real quick. See if I can fix it. Okay. Let's try doing it this way. Okay, there we go. Sorry, Roll20 just went kind of weird on me there. There she goes. So you've landed in amongst kind of, it's not quite the center of the city, but kind of the edge of the center. Definitely a governmental districts. There's, several nice large park areas with monuments, various, buildings that are, very kind of functional, look like government buildings built by humanoid type species most of the galaxy over, and some nicer kind of places. And you've landed in on a shuttle pad beside a very kind of impressive structure. It is design is very kind of John Geary-ish, lots of swooping curves and angles. The building itself seems to kind of reach upwards, towards the sky. And there's an elaborate glass doored entrance, and these four individuals come out to greet you. They are, as you can see, 4 different species. Captain Vogel, welcome. Welcome to Susnall. And to your crew, of course.
Thank you for your warm welcome, Premier. This is Dr. Sorrel, our ship's doctor.
I'm trying to shake hands with the 4 people, with the main person.
Okay. He kind of looks curiously at your extended hand, and you can tell. Well, give me an insight. Insight con difficulty 1.
Wait a second.
What are we waiting for?
Did you just say that you were offering a handshake?
Yes.
Vulcan offering a handshake? That, unless you've had
all right, guys, it's his character. Just hold on.
It's weird.
He may be Vulcan, but he spent a lot of time with humans.
It's the explanation.
So,
enjoy your happy place.
Sorrel, if you'll give me an insight con difficulty of 1.
Okay. Does diplomacy help?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, if you want, I will let you succeed at cost, but that will create a complication.
It's fine.
So do you want to succeed at cost or not?
No.
Okay. So he kind of looks at your extended hand and kind of cocks his head, and then kind of mimics the gesture, but he doesn't like grab your hand. He just kind of sticks his hand out there, and is kind of appears to be tentatively kind of smiling, or
Excuse our Dr. Premier. This is an ancient Earth custom, a greeting of sorts. It is called a handshake.
And so what do I do now?
We grab hands and we just shake them up and down.
Okay, and he kind of does it, and you shake, and he goes, "How delightful!"
I put my hand. I just take my hand back.
Okay. Yeah.
Then I'll point to our resident Andorian. This is Commander Olos, our ship's engineer. he is most interested in learning more about your planet's technology.
Ah, then you want to speak to Minister Barkwai here, and he indicates this person. She is my scientific advisor and Chief Minister of Chief Minister of Interior Affairs.
And to my left, this is Chief Osborne, our Chief of Security.
Welcome, welcome.
And we have Lieutenant Merrick, which is a xenolinguistic expert and was able to translate your language and go through your database.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yes, as I said, it's been many years since we've had the opportunity of others coming to us, but we always look forward to such contacts and try to be ready. I hope our database was helpful in your work.
Oh, very much so. And in fact, we would like to extend to you some information on our species as well.
And are you handing him the pad?
I am, yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. Minister Barkwai, and this one comes up and takes the pad and kind of studies it a bit. Let me see. Just do it this way since it's easier. And she kind of her these are kind of almost like seaweed, sea creature kind of things on her head, and as she's first looking at the pad, they kind of curl kind of tight, and then in this kind of expanding flutter after she looks at it for a second, they kind of expand back out, and then she starts tapping some. She pulls out a device from a little holster in her side and is looking at both of them and probably figuring out how to make the connection there.
I go over and help, and try to help.
Okay, how do you do that? What are you doing exactly?
Is it like a tricorder sort of thing that she has out in hands?
Yeah, and you can move your character, by the way. You should be able to. If you can't, let me know, and I'll. Yeah, there you go. Okay. It's something similar. You're not really at the tricorder era. You've got these hand scanners, and what the captain has handed her is a data pad kind of thing. But yes, she seems to have some sort of hand scanner type thing, and
the equivalent of like Bluetooth for it, and just set it up with that.
Yeah, well, it seems like she's already figured that out, and the data is being transferred from the way the screen of the pad is kind of flicking. You know how in Star Trek where the different pages and stuff are just flicking through super fast as data's being scrolled through. You can see that happening. So it looks like she's figured out how to make the transfer.
Did you need any help?
Thank you, but I believe I have managed to establish a connection between our devices. I'm updating the linguistic and cultural databases now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then go back.
Okay. And have you introduced everybody at this point, Captain?
I guess Frank should have. And this is Ensign Franks, our shuttle pilot.
And this gentleman steps forward. On behalf of our government, I would like to officially apologize for the near accident you suffered coming down, Captain and Ensign Franks. It was a unfortunate incident. No flight plan had been filed, and it appears the pilot of the vessel that nearly collided with you was I'm ashamed to say, under the effects of an intoxicating substance. I hope that none of you were injured in any way.
Oh, not at all. Ensign Franks is a expert pilot and was able to maneuver out of the way. I think
Honestly,
he
it was the most fun
rather
I've had in a
enjoyed it.
long time.
And TV says, yes, our sincere apologies. And this gentleman is Dran Kurger.
My guess of him being a drunk driver was exactly correct.
Is
Yep.
Minister Kurgum, our Minister Kurgum of the Defense Ministry.
Okay. That is the point where Osborne is sizing him up. Not actively or anything. He's just trying to get a read on this guy.
Sure. Insight Security difficulty 1, or you can give me a momentum. Why are there two Osbornes?
I have no idea.
I think I didn't see my token, so I dragged one out.
No, that's fine. So yeah, either Insight Security 1, or you can spend a momentum for.
I will spend a momentum, but just to roll a third die.
Okay.
Oh, it's supposed to be insight, but it's okay. My insight is higher than my reason anyway.
Okay. So you gain 2. And I'm not going to bother to type this out to you. He seems fit. His species is, or at least this, since this is the only person of his species you've met, is much more solidly built than the other 3. It looks like his dermal layers may have some sort of natural scutes or scales providing some sort of extra protection. I mean, they're all well dressed in what appears to be really nice material. So he's not armed, but he does look like he could take care of himself. But then again, you're just kind of judging without knowing more. I mean, he could just be an average looking member of his species, or for all you know, he could be grossly overweight and out of shape. Yeah, but
yeah, okay. I just wanted to form my first impressions,
right?
Because that's what Osborne does when he meets a fellow security personnel.
He does seem to be sincere in his apology and angry, but the anger seems to be directed more towards either the drunk flyer, or the fact that geez, the first thing that happens when we get visitors from another world is they almost get killed by one of our own people. That kind of
Just the situation,
that's the vibe.
anger,
right?
Anger at the situation.
Perfect, exactly. And TV says, and last but certainly not least, our Minister of State, Nelkud Carlisle. And in this very musical voice, this person says, "You are most welcome to the Seven Systems Alliance, and to our capital here on Cessnal. It is a wonderful day to meet so many new people."
We share those sentiments exactly.
So come. Let us get out of the sun and sit and speak. So you enter into the building. You see members of 7 different species going back and forth. Doing as you would see in any kind of working government building. There seems to be maybe slightly more of TV's species than the rest, but it's pretty well mixed. Certainly better mixed than, say, your ship, as far as the number of species. Merrick, you do notice that there are, while there's snatches of several different languages spoken between members of the same species, that among each other they do seem to all be speaking this kind of combined language that you kind of sorted out from the noise earlier. So, and they take you in the building, and you're in a very nice conference room. There is water. There are various snacks on the buffet kind of to the side. Barclay speaks with an aide as you come in, and you see one particular tray of snacks being carried out, and Barclay says, according to your database, everything left here should be palatable for each of your species. Although, Doctor, you are, of course, free to double check. We wouldn't want anyone falling ill.
Which I do.
Okay, I'm not going to make you roll for it yet. Should not give anybody in the crew here any problems, and the water has been filtered and is cold and potable. Or is it potable? I can never remember.
Palatable. Yeah, the moment the food was brought out, Frank just popped a bit of it in his mouth before anybody could do anything.
Fortunately, it's fine.
Okay.
Osborne
Yeah.
reaches up.
Yeah, you're correct. Everything here should be fine.
Meanwhile, off on the side, he has a full mouth and he's
Osborne
got chipmunk cheeks.
Osborne reaches over, grabs a small little brown, like bread-like item, pops it in his mouth, says, it's like garlic bread.
He's just shaking his head. I'm not going to even try to speak.
Working great with the grid, but so there you are, kind of all around the table. It's this oval conference table, very comfortable, definitely designed for humanoid species. There are while designed for humanoid species, it's not exactly the most. They're adequate. None of you would want to be sitting in them for an extended period of time, because the chairs are built for, give me an insight science, if you would, Harrison. Oh wait, Harrison's not there. Merrick, I guess.
I mean, I also have good science.
Okay, Merrick and the doctor can each give an insight science if they want. Doctor, you can do insight medicine if you would rather.
Okay.
Diff 1.
Whatever, focus.
Yeah, it's nice, cold, clear water. Merrick.
Take a threat.
Yeah, xenobiology will apply. I'll take the threat.
Okay.
Okay, Merrick gets 2 momentum. Sorrel succeeds, no momentum gain there, so it looks like you're at 1 float. Both of you realize that, these chairs are probably built to be as comfortable as possible for any type of humanoid species that would fit, that might use them, which makes them uncomfortable for pretty much any humanoid species over an extended period of time. They're just kind of adequate. They're designed to be as best a possible chair for as many different physiologies as possible, which makes them not quite comfortable for any physiology. but they'll do. And TV says, "So, Captain, tell us of your journeys. What has brought you here? None of you are species that we are familiar with."
Our ship has a of exploration.
Indeed. And is your homeworld close by? Have you been traveling far?
How far is Earth? The Sol system from here?
Right, I think you said we've been traveling for 1 year.
We haven't been in space for a year yet.
Okay.
Doesn't necessarily mean how far we've gone out.
Let me bring up
Yeah.
the fleet
Yeah,
map.
I mean, yeah, I'd imagine I'd know how many light years we are.
Yeah, I just need to bring that up because I know about where you are. You're probably about 50 light years, 50 to 55 light years away from Sol. Pretty far out for...
We are roughly 52 and a half light years from our home system.
Which is mine, because I grew up on school.
It's
You
roughly
see-
the same distance. It's not that Vulcan isn't
you
that
see-
far from Earth.
Minister Barclay's kind of feathered sensory organs kind of snap back flat against her head, and her eyes kind of widen. Are you traveling in some sort of generation ship?
Because I read just
No, our technology has advanced to the point where we are able to travel at a warp factor 7.
I can say warp is something that is basically faster than light travel.
You know what warp is.
No, to the people that don't. To the species.
No, they have warp travel. They're capable of doing that.
Theirs is just much slower than ours.
They would understand. They would have their translation of what we're saying.
Right.
It would be in their terms.
Ah,
We're not speaking the same language because we can't speak it. It's the universal translator.
remarkable. With so many neighbors so close, we have not found it necessary to invest much research into our warp engines and warp technology, besides the subspace communication side effects, if you will. Warp 1 puts us within just a few days' travel of any of the 7 systems, and for trade and our interspecies relation, that has been all that we needed.
I understand. Unfortunately, I mean, this is the first time we've ever seen such a large cluster of habitable planets. Sol's closest neighbor is about 4 light years away.
And Barkwai, her head sensory organs kind of flutter, and she says, "I see. That does, of course, that makes perfect sense. With no immediate neighbors, you of course had to spend more time in research in pushing out farther, and that also explains your being your focus on missions of exploration." It's fascinating cultural differences. In fact, and at this point, TV kind of leans forward and gently puts a hand on one of her arms and says, I'm sure that the captain and his science team, and he nods at Merrick at that, and the doctor would be delighted to discuss the cultural differences in our development of Starflight and technology, Minister. But perhaps we could put that aside for the moment. So, Captain, do you come seeking trade relations? Is it just a purely scientific mission of exploration?
Well, our ship is responsible for the scientific exploration, but I'm sure our diplomatic corps would be most interested in obtaining some trade negotiations and trade.
Ah, yes, we can perhaps. Do you have the authority to negotiate with us to begin the process of formal diplomatic relationships?
That is one of the reasons I am out here.
Wonderful. I look forward to our talks. So, did you just run across us through a happy accident, or did your astronomical investigations reveal the star cluster? We realize that it is highly unusual for so many systems, particularly habited systems, to be so close together. And of course, as Minister Barclay would I'm sure say, with all these systems, all our systems close together, and nothing very much within near space beyond that, it has kept us somewhat isolated. And he's right. This cluster of stars is surrounded by pretty much in whatever direction between 8 and 12 light years of uninhabited, quote unquote, empty space. Unlike Earth, where you have Alpha Centauri at 4 light years away. So with species on all of these planets, yeah, it's not kind of surprising they're kind of stuck to themselves.
So yeah, so your planetary cluster was one of the main reasons we were out here. But how good is your sensor technology?
Well, Minister Barclay, well, we of course have excellent navigational, and we do study astronomy and such, the stars. So I would say we have a fairly good sensor system, and she's tapping on her hand scanner with a rough computer-assisted comparison of our technologies based upon the first contact protocols and database you provided me with. We are perhaps roughly equivalent to your own level of sensor technology.
That's good. That's good to know. One of the main reasons we came here is we have detected a rogue planetoid system. About a light year away, or was it a light year and a half?
It was when you left it was 3/4 of a light year away, 0.75 light years away, but moving in.
Okay. We detected a rogue planetoid less than a light year from this location, and we triangulated its trajectory, and it appears that it is going to be entering the Goldilocks zones of several of the systems here.
All right. He says, "Can you provide us with these coordinates, Captain?"
And I'll slide the information pad on that over to him.
And he slides it to Barclay and kind of nods at her, and she gets up and kind of moves to a console over here. Harrison, on the ship, are you at the science console? Or are you in the captain's chair?
I'd be in the captain's chair.
All right. So Lieutenant Namdi, who has taken the science station, looks up and goes, "Commander, there are I'm detecting multiple satellites and sensor platforms throughout the system, changing changing orientation.
Are they changing it in a way that makes them go towards where we left the planetoid?
Checking. Confirmed, sir. Multiple systems appear to be focusing on that area of space.
I believe the captain has informed them of it, and they are verifying the information.
And then we'll go back to the planet.
We are unsure of the origin of this planetoid, but we determined that this area was populated, and we thought it'd be best to at least give you a warning of it, just in case it might cause severe problems.
Barkai comes back and says, "Indeed, our sensors have now detected the planetoid. It is only now rising its temperature above the background temperature of space, and that's why we could not detect it before. Anybody who wants to can give me an Insight Command difficulty 2.
Oh,
I'm gonna use my talent of doctor's orders to transfer that to medicine.
That won't work in this case. You're not trying to get anybody to do something medicine or medical related or to follow those kind of orders.
Okay.
So, I'll go ahead and roll for that. However, I am not at my computer at the moment, so
Okay.
Max is too busy stuffing his face, paying attention.
No, he's actually driving. I think.
Frank's?
Oh, Frank. Sorry. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me grab the captain's sheet. Okay. Presence, no insights, command.
Would I have a focus?
What was the difficulty?
Difficulty was 2. Looks like you can use diplomacy if you want. Well, no, that's not really going to apply in this case.
Interrogation or investigation?
Interrogation, I'll take.
Linguistics?
No.
I have
So
bold command, right?
yes. Do you want to give me a threat?
Yeah. How much momentum we have?
6. You're capped.
I'm gonna spend
Okay,
one.
I'll take 1 dice.
I'll spend 1 momentum, 2 threat, and I'll roll 4.
Okay.
I will spend one momentum.
Okay, so that's 2 momentum being spent.
3,
I think,
because the captain's
Right.
captain's also spending.
Okay. Oh, you don't want me rolling for you, Cap.
That bad?
You do have bold though, so let me re-roll a complication. There you go.
Ooh, excuse me. Ooh.
You okay there? Hope so.
I'm good.
Okay.
Sorry.
Osborne.
So Olo Swift's Sorrel doesn't make it. The captain doesn't make it. Sorrel, I guess.
On 4 dice?
Yeah, you rolled 4 zeros, one of which was a complication. So I re-rolled the complication,
wow.
and you got a
Okay.
1.
Yeah.
So
Alright.
I think I made it.
I don't see your roll.
It
Or
should come through any second now. It's I rolled 4 successes. 4 successes.
A lot of people are on the internet right now. You know, it's like a series of tubes.
That's right. It is a series of tubes, and those get blocked. There it is. So yeah, you got 2 floating. Well, nope. You spent 3 out of the 6, so you've now back up to 5 momentum.
Nobody's keeping track of it right now because Merrick's gone away for a minute.
Yeah.
Great. So Osborne is going to be the only one that notices whatever the hell this. Sounds about right.
Biggs isn't paying attention at all. He's just eating.
Okay. Okay, Osborne. Say copy and paste. I sent you something.
Interesting. A moment. I feel like there's a question I want to ask. I need a moment to decide
Of course.
what it is and how I want to.
Yeah, so Frank's the spread is delicious. You're not really sure what you're eating, but the bread kind of stuff is just this incredibly light, flaky, buttery kind of dish. There are some really delicious fruits that, like, at first it's this really almost too strong burst of sweetness when you bite into it, but then it's almost immediately perfectly cut by just a little bit of sour to make this just incredible sensation as the juice slides down your throat. Yeah, you're just really, the food is impressive.
Okay. I think I know the question I want to ask.
Okay.
So, at least for those first two emotions, primarily the one in the middle, is that for herself? Is that for herself, or is that for, like, generally her people? Is it an external thing, or is it an internal, like, oh, this is a problem for me type thing?
Okay. Yeah, for momentum, I can. I'll answer that as best I can. I think I know how to answer that.
Because that context will absolutely change how Osborne is going to go about this.
I don't know why that's still playing. I think that's about as close as I can get to it as to describe it.
Oh, okay. Interesting. All right. Who's TV guy? Is it just a token I'm not seeing?
Sorry, I put his first name last. It's this guy. It's the older, reddish. Yeah, I put his first name instead of his last. I'll change that real quick.
Okay. Okay. It's like, I don't see that name. Let me see.
There we go.
Does the presence of this planet mean something to you, Premier?
What? Just folk tales my mother's mother told me. I'm afraid in my old age, perhaps I believe in such things a little bit more than I should. But no, there's it doesn't really mean anything to me. And
this minister
says Oh, surely, Premier, you're not going to talk about that nonsense. No. I mean, that's, of course not. It's just an old man's momentary fancy.
And
My
I just give
my
a, I
my
give a
mother's
side eye.
mother's mother was quite a storyteller in her day.
Just give a side eye to the captain.
He chokes a bit, and then says, some stories do basis in truth, though.
Sorry, what did he say? I was doing something else.
Osborne noticed something, and Tivy just brushed it off as saying, it just reminded me of something, that basically his great grandmother told him. Just, forgive me, old man's shake. And then another minister said, "Oh, you're not going to bring all that up, are you?" So, and he said,
I am interested in old folklore tales.
And Tivy kind of sighs, and he says, as you may have been able to tell, each of our 7 systems developed sentient life. And while all of our species did evolve on our homeworlds, there has always been a break in the evolutionary record and evidence for all of us. As our science has advanced, our scientists now believe that, what was it again, Barkwai? She says, we believe that each of our 7 species were, I guess, uplifted would be the most, the closest thing to it, through genetic manipulation by someone at a massive level. Yes, exactly. At some point, our ancestors all were, while we think that we were all on the way to sentience, someone sometime in our distant evolutionary past sped things up a bit. Because of this, all of our species have a shared legend about powerful beings, which my people called the overlords. Our oldest myths, very, very fragmentary, speak of our species being divided and enslaved by these overlords, until there was millennia upon millennia ago a great revolt where our people overthrew our oppressors, but this caused all of our worlds to kind of crash into a dark age. Much history was lost, much just vague oral tradition has survived, until over the millennia we once again, each of us built up our technological capabilities again and began reaching out and rediscovering the homeworlds of each other, because and for some of us it was where we evolved when the great darkness came upon us. There were already members of each species on everyone's planet, so we evolved. We built our civilization together, not without some terrible crimes in the past, but and so when we rediscovered each other, these kind of unifying myths were part of what allowed us to create the 7 Systems Alliance peacefully, as the descendants of a shared uprising. But this is, on some level, it could be true from what we understand from some contacts with other species such as the Orions and the Ferengi. There is, you call them, I think, the preservers. There are similar kind of myths and origins and theories on other planets in the galaxy. My great grandmother, however, told the tale, and this, of course, when I was very, very young, and when I was perhaps not acting properly, and she would scare me with stories of the time in which the overlords will return to claim what they have lost and enslave us all again. It's kind of the frightening tales that some adults tell to their children to get them to straighten up, as it will. They're really, something happened in our distant past, but we have no real evidence of any other alien civilization or anything like that in our planetary system
Was
to
there
corroborate
ever
these myths.
was there ever any description as to what these enigmatic overlords looked like?
If there was any single description, I'm afraid those were lost or destroyed or forgotten during the long dark ages. Now you can find as many descriptions and portrayals in our media of the overlords as there are people with dark imaginations.
What is the most common one?
A better question is, are there any factors that may be similar amongst all of us?
That's not really something I know. I'm not a historian or mythological scholar. I'm sure we could provide you access to databases to find that out. But as far as I know, and he kind of looks around and the rest of them give various negative signs. I can't think of any consistent version of them. Some are bipedal. Each species has a version of themselves magnified. There are some traditions where they are some strange blends of all of us, and others when they're hexapedal monsters or fierce machines, or there's just a multitude. Again, this was what? And he looks at Barkai and she goes, well, the Dark Ages only ended. The Dark Ages ended 8 millennia ago when we started to record our history again, and we estimate that they went on for at least 2 to 3 millennia before that. So at least 10,000 years ago, and 2 to 3,000 of those years where there was no written history. I think you guys are currently at 5 momentum.
I think so.
Just to let Merrick catch up.
Do your stories have any tales of what happens if these overlords were to return?
And Nelkud speaks up and goes, about what you would expect: death, destruction, enslavement. But I mean, these are fairy tales, Captain. I mean, there is probably some truth, and she nods at Ensign Franks, well buried in our distant past. But we've had 8,000 years of recorded history and struggle and advancement to get to where we are today, and no sign of these powerful people. If our ships fly at warp 1, yours considerably faster, apparently. If they were going to come, and warp technology obviously is not terribly rare among developed species, if they were far ahead of us then, surely they would have come by now. But if they did exist, and she kind of glares at Tivy like she's just kind of upset with him for bringing up this line at all, they're they've either lost interest of us, or they never really had that interest of us, or their civilization fell. We don't know. But I, for one, I think they're just figures of legend, creation myths.
From what I know, it took the people around me, their species, like 2,000 years to go from basically what you described to what they are now. 2,000 years. Right. Some species evolve a lot faster technology than others.
Well, remember the out of character, the last ice age ended about 8,000 years ago from real world time. So if you're
roughly
talking about,
speaking, for a dark age to current timeline, it would probably be closer. It would probably be close to a little over 1,000, maybe 2,000 years.
Because the Middle Ages.
Yeah,
Well,
it wouldn't be. It would barely be 1,000.
no,
If we
we're
were
talking.
talking about
What happened to these people
1300s
happened.
to 1600s.
These people were knocked back from what your character understanding. They were knocked back to a very pre-technological level, if what they're telling you is true. And it took them that long to crawl out of it and start developing technology and get back into space again. But it sounds like, for whatever reason, according to their myths anyway, they were, knocked down to, starting from almost nothing. And again, their recorded history starts 8,000 years ago. Now, so before that, who knows? Honestly, but their recorded history, they say, dates back 8,000 years.
We don't exactly know what technological level they were at prior to their dark age.
Right. And what happened before the 8,000 years ago, nobody knows. And, early recorded histories are notoriously unreliable.
At any rate, we do not exactly know the threat that this rogue planetoid might pose to your habited system. There's still much we do not know about it.
But you say it is on course to pass through several of our systems.
From our estimates, that is correct.
And you see Minister Barclay kind of tapping furiously at her handheld device. Readings from our sensors are coming in now. Premier, it seems that if it maintains its current course, it will pass through the 3 habitable zones of first Kenneth, then here in Karai, and then finally through Zophai. And if the course and current speed remains steady, they will pass directly through the orbital paths of each of those systems' primary world, or primary inhabited world, I should say. Kurgam says, Premier, this presents a danger to our systems. I think we need to take action against this. Tivy nods and he kind of looks across the table at Vogel and says, Captain, I hesitate to presume on such a new acquaintance, but our warp capability is nowhere near yours. It would take us a long time to mount a mission to the planetoid, and even with it heading towards us to reach it. Is there any possibility of you considering to help us to divert this planetoid so that it passes by our systems.
That is my thought exactly. I'm sure the Aurora would be able to assist you in whatever endeavor you deem necessary to protect your system.
We would be most grateful. And we will give you whatever assistance we can. Barclay says, my ministry can work with your scientific department, and with the information, perhaps we can develop an idea for how to divert the planetoid. And at its present distance, we may be able to divert it from its course with a fairly minimal application of force or push, if you will. Just a fraction of a degree at that distance could send it safely by. Reading the size, if it is allowed to pass through, there's a potential for massive gravitational disruptions and orbital disruptions in both the system's Oort clouds and perhaps even the habited planetary systems.
There is one other thing we have not mentioned yet.
Oh?
There
Says
does
Kurtum.
seem to be a advanced robot population on this planetoid. They were extremely aggressive when we did our initial investigation.
I can attest to that.
Kurgum says, you mean this is some kind of ship? I thought you said it was a planetoid.
As best as we can tell, it is a planetoid.
Our sensors, our long-range sensors, confirmed the same thing, and it does appear to be a frozen planetoid slowly thawing as it comes towards us.
I say we may need our ship. We may need our ship and your most powerful ship together in order to put this to destroy this thing.
Unfortunately, due to their war capability, that isn't possible. Unless we have to wait a year. Fitting their ships would also take as much time as would take more time than us going there and diverting it ourselves.
We have a spare warp core. We could, if we may be able to integrate into those systems.
Could take weeks or months, depending on.
All right. Is that Frank speaking, or?
It's Frank speaking. He's
okay.
No, he knows ships on a basic level.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
And I'm just giving out some solution to this problem, basically.
I think it is far too early to speculate on solutions to the problem. I definitely think we need to start scanning possible ways of moving this planet.
Any vessel, from what I remember we experienced just a day ago, sir, we were nearly destroyed as we were getting tractor beamed down to the surface of the planet. It took every ounce of the ship just to get to escape and get to a safe distance out of their range.
Well, and you did shoot it.
And we did
shoot it. If this and the head of the Ministry of Defense says, this is sounding more and more like a hostile force. I knew it had to happen eventually, but I was hoping we'd reach a point of being better prepared. The Seven Systems fleets, if you can grace them with that title, consist of, revenue cutters, patrol boats, police craft, search and rescue teams. We don't have any ships capable of No, certainly engaging even in your ship in combat, or certainly not a planetoid. We can handle low-level crimes, piracy, smuggling, but
And then
Not an invasion.
would we be able to get other ships from Starfleet involved? Or they are too far away?
Unfortunately, they are too far away. They will never reach here in time.
yeah, even at warp 7 or a cruising speed of warp 6.5, the galaxy is way bigger than it is in TNG.
In terms of like scale for our warp core, we are about warp 1 or 2 compared to a galaxy's warp 6. Yeah.
So yeah, you guys are out. I mean, you're exploring. You're out beyond the Federation's borders and
The
uncharted
Federation's
space.
ability to help.
We are
Right.
basically Kirk in this situation. We're deep space and we have nobody else around us if things go to shit.
Or Voyager?
Yeah, the flip side is you do have a lot of
Voyager
freedom
didn't
of
have a choice,
action. So
Would we be able to call in any of our allies in this area?
Don't have any allies in this area.
That's the point.
yeah, you
Our
guys
allies are limited to
yeah, you're beyond explored space. You're in unexplored
our allies
territory.
are limited to Pandoria, Vulcan, and Earth.
Yeah.
There's a few scattered planets in the Alpha Quadrant, I believe.
Yeah, you're pretty much the core of the Federation. But ultimately, yeah, Merrick is right. You are on your own. So any solutions has to come from you guys with the help of and assistance of the 7 Systems Alliance.
Captain,
Commander?
their technology is relatively similar to ours. There might be a few quick upgrades we could just make in their systems to make their warp engines a little more capable. If anything, we do have time to prepare to evacuate what we can until we can figure out what the planetoid are.
Evacuate, Nailcud says.
Evacuation might not be exactly
Captain,
the easy solution.
Each of our homeworlds has billions of people on it. Even if we got all shipping from all 7 systems, I mean, maybe we could evacuate one of them. And where are we going to put those people?
I'm offering this only at the last resort to get who you can off as quickly as you can.
I believe
And
the only
Kurgum
solution
says, oh, go ahead.
The best solutions we have are either to divert the planetoid or destroy it. Evacuation isn't possible.
Kurgum says, and also these are our homes. We're not going to let some rogue planet, robots or not, drive us out of our homes. I mean, we may go down, but we'll go down fighting. And
Diverting the
Timmy's kinda
planet.
like, easy. We're not there yet. We're just working on solution. But Captain, we are going to need your help. Your ship is more advanced than anything we have.
I agree. I do not think we're there yet to start calling for mass evacuations, although I do think we should also prepare for that eventuality. There is much we still need to learn about this planetoid and what its intentions are.
Well, perhaps that is where we should begin. But again, I'm afraid we're going to have to impose upon your kindness. Yours is the only ship that could get there and find out these things in enough time to allow us to perhaps have a chance of diverting or dealing with whatever you find.
And the Aurora stands ready with the 7 Systems Alliance. We will also welcome aboard any scientific and even a few military personnel to gauge the situation if you so desire.
Tivy says, Ministers Barclay and Kurgum, assemble teams, science teams that you think may be able to assist the captain here and Kirkham, some of your best military scientists and engineers to assist as well, and to observe and make whatever military recommendations that might be necessary. And both of them nod, and they kind of get up and go to a little bit away at different corners and start communicating with, you're assuming they're people.
This situation is going to call for the resources of every member of your alliance. And the United Federation of Planets will use as much resources we have at our disposal to assist you.
So meanwhile, on the ship, incoming hail from Lieutenant Merrick, Commander.
I'll put her through.
Commander Harrison, I wanted to pick your brain about something that was on the planet's surface.
Talking geographical or the murder bots?
The murder bots. I wanted to ask you what their intentions were. It seems that the delegation here, and like with the captain of their,
It initially started by disassembling our shuttle. After we engaged them, they brought in bigger and bigger combat units to eliminate the threat.
so they were more interested in the technology and scavenging it for their own use.
At least on a surface level, that is correct.
Thank you, Commander. Merrick out. Captain, I just had like a sort of a thought process from our encounter with the rogue planet.
What's on your mind, Lieutenant?
It seems that the quote from the team, the murder robots, were more interested in the technology of the shuttlecraft and potentially our ship. That's why they tried to tractor beam us. With your permission, I would like to go through the historical records and then also their mythological records on this planet to see if there's a correlation whether or not this rogue planet makes its journey here every so often.
And maybe we could use your planetary sensors and maybe try to figure out its past trajectory. Maybe this is something that makes a standard orbit or a standard pass.
I'm sure the Minister Barclay will be happy to give you access to our astronomical and historical databases for this. Although in some of the older ones, you will be dealing with more archaic forms of our language.
I'm sure Lieutenant Merrick here will enjoy the challenge.
I'm sure also Commander Harrison will relish in the opportunity to help me with this project.
I would, but I think my expertise would probably be better spent elsewhere.
So, what is y'all's plan?
So Merrick's plan sounds good. There is something I want to talk to Olos about, but not here.
Okay. Yeah, the Barclay and Kurgam are getting kind of their people together and trying to figure out what they need. Tivy suggests that maybe we recess and then come back together and figure out what the next step is. But he says, however, Captain, I would prefer if we moved on this quickly. So perhaps tomorrow morning, local time, we should try and be ready to move into the next phase.
Tomorrow, then.
Captain, if it's the same to you, might I have permission to stay here on the planet? I could act as an in-between. In the meantime.
I would like to stay here to try and learn more about the biology.
That's fine, Doctor. Also, while you're down here, try to see if any of our supplies might be able to complement theirs, just in case the worst happens and we do have to try to evacuate. We could try to start getting a list going of everything that we could possibly spare.
And Osborne turns to the Premier and says, well, there you have it. If there's anything that you need the captain to know, I'm at your disposal.
And I will, and I am too.
Very good. Thank you both so much. And thank you, Captain.
We'll see you tomorrow morning, Premier.
Tomorrow. And he and the ministers are heading out unless anybody wants to stop him and ask him anything.
I say to Walker, where would I find the science division?
You could come with me, and I will show you. What exactly are you looking for, Doctor?
Just some information about your biology and stuff, in case one of you get injured, we can have our staff help you.
Of course. The Susnall University has an excellent medical school, one of the best in the 7 systems. I will have a driver take you there. Their library should provide their medical library should provide all of the data you would need.
Thank you.
Okay, that gets arranged. Anybody else?
I don't have anything.
Okay.
Just a little conversation with Olos on the ride up.
Okay.
Are they transmitting the data to us in terms for their sort of cultural reference point of?
They've basically given you access to their databases, their cultural, historical, scientific databases, so you can you can plug in and access them remotely from wherever.
Okay.
Okay, so Olos and the captain and Franks and Merrick are heading back up.
Yep.
Okay.
And during the ride, like I said, I want to have a little RP with Olos.
Yeah. Take you right back over here. There you go. Nope. Olos is going, yeah.
I was trying to move them when the screen moved when you clicked, so it moved
sorry.
the piece.
Yeah.
No worries.
At the back.
Commander, have you made any progress with that murder bot?
In a few ways, I have. We know how it communicates. We know that it is simply programmed. They're completely singular in mind. They have one function to do, and they will perform that function regardless of events around it.
You said you were able to determine how it communicates. Any luck in trying to access this communication, tap into it?
I had a lot of trouble isolating it between the background radiation of the planetoid itself. Perhaps we could figure out a way to send a signal to the machines themselves rather than interfere with their signal. Just have them pick up a separate one. It gives them a simple task like stand still.
That sounds like an excellent idea. I want you to, when we get back to the ship, I want you to redouble your efforts on that in case we need it, which seems likely.
Absolutely. Captain, if I may, I think trying to stop the planet is a better course of action. To destroy it, we'd need a planet-killing device for that. And to change its course, its own self-propulsion, it'd be too dangerous to risk everything to change its course and fail if it can just set itself back on the same course.
I think you and I are on the same mind in this command. And if we could do that remotely by just sending a signal, I think that'll be the safest option for not only our ship, but the Seven Alliances as well, while also preserving these robots.
At a minimum, it would allow us to enter the interior of the planet and how it's moving if we could interfere with it that way, or perhaps there's something down there that's intelligent to communicate with.
I definitely like where this conversation is going. I want you to take charge of this.
All right.
Yeah, to destroy the planet would require some kind of, I don't know, doomsday machine.
I mean,
we have to get a very big bomb, and one of us has to stay behind on the planet.
I do have 13 threat and no Borg, so that's an idea.
we
Radio the Borg. Hey, Borg, we need some help blowing this planet up.
we need some kind of giant space cornucopia.
Yeah, exactly. So, okay.
When is Q when you need them?
So, Doctor and not Harrison. Sorry, Osborne. Do you want to do anything immediately, or shall I head on to the ship?
I'm good.
Doctor? Silence implies consent. So we will go to start back up here. So as I understand it, Merrick is going to be working on going through the various databases, correct?
Yeah, to figure out if this is not the first time this rogue planet has made its trip through here.
Okay. And she's going to be working with Harrison, I think you said.
Yeah. So my idea is to use their history and their cultural references to pinpoint, like, okay, and get more of a modern day look at it.
Okay.
And then with the help of Harrison, he could. The idea is for him to track where the rogue planet has been, and if it does indeed have this big long elliptical orbit that will pass through the various systems and returns eventually.
Okay, just to remind you from the first part of this session, the science officer learned that this was before the planet started accelerating and you knew that it could theoretically change course, that its trajectory as far as it could be backtracked seemed to have originated from way, way, way out at the tippy tip of the Orion arm, where around, again, this was based on its current speed of 0.25 quarter impulse, around the time that perhaps it would have left that section, there was a massive supernova within the rough time frame. So that it's the track, again, this was before you knew it could theoretically move. Its track back, as far as you could determine, was to the very tippy tip end of the Orion arm.
Yeah, so that's information we know, but we want to cross-reference their database and see if maybe it made a giant loop, even though we know it can move by itself.
Okay, that's fair.
Like maybe it's on a timetable
All right,
Everybody
so
knows
moving
pretty
a straight line.
similar planetoid has moved past this system.
Yeah.
So as I'm breaking this task down, Merrick, it sounds like you're going to do the big kind of research swoop data gathering, making sure it's in a form that is legible to Harrison. So you're basically going to do the information gathering and translation part, and try and get him enough to do some kind of back plot if necessary.
Yeah,
Or
or at
am I-
least can figure like maybe there's another civilization at one point that attempted to invade them.
Okay.
And this is a remnant of that. But
Okay. So you're basically going through the records and dealing with whatever to see if there's any suggestion that this has come around before, or if something similar has come
Yeah.
around before. Okay, cool. So that's what you're going to be doing. Olos, what are you going to be doing with the captured bot?
I want to see if I can produce a signal that will disseminate orders to it.
Okay. So what else is everybody else wanting to get into here?
The captain is just gonna look through their history, their recorded history.
Mhm.
More or less just to see what kind of people I'm dealing with. Are they mostly peaceful? Were they aggressive at one point?
Okay.
Plus I'm a history buff, so
Perfect.
or the captain has a history focus, so this would interest him.
Cool. And that'll also kind of give him the background and skills he'll need to deal with, a bunch of historical information and all that good stuff. Let me do something really quickly.
Usually Grennan's wheelhouse.
I mean, this is also why the captain's interested in their ancient folklore, because that's history.
Right. Okay, so that's the captain, Merrick, and Olos. Is there anything particular anybody else is going to do? Sorrel's going to be doing medical research. Or Soral. Sorry, I don't know why I keep calling you a horse. What about Harrison or Osborne?
Nothing in particular that person would be doing. You'd be waiting on the translation from Merrick.
Okay. All right.
Mainly, I'm just trying to keep in contact with the premier and his people, and if they need anything or if they have any updates on that kind of thing. Osborne just wants to keep informed, keep his ear to the pulse of the situation on the planet.
Fair enough.
After I get done researching the medical stuff, and then try and help them advance their warp stuff, the warp physics.
Mm-hmm.
After I'm researching medical stuff, and then use the rest of the time to help them advance the warp physics.
Okay. So we are going to start with Olos, I think. So we'll go down here to where the science labs, where I think your token still is. You can get an assist on this if you want it. You can either have somebody grab Moros, or you can ask Harrison to step in and assist if you want, or whoever you'd like.
I'll radio into Harris and see if Harrison minds stepping in.
I could grab Moros.
I'll be right down there. his response to it. So Harrison
Very
is
good.
going to be the assist, so there's no reason for Moros.
I will grab Harrison. There you are. All right, so you're back in that same lab.
Right. So to ensure that we don't have any workplace accidents here, let's disassemble this thing's cutters and
Right. That's going to be control engineering difficulty 2.
Actually, I just realized, did they ever, in that one episode of Enterprise where they met the Ferengi, did they ever actually learn the Ferengi, like that's what they were called?
no.
But they ran into another species who mentioned the Ferengi before that episode. So it was established that the Ferengi were already out there and had contacted other civilizations, just
Right.
not the Federation yet. So
We're
Okay.
known,
So
but we didn't know that that was the Ferengi. Our
right.
official
And
contact.
more so, my thought was, is this the first time the Federation has heard the name Ferengi before?
no, Archer heard it, and I think Archer. Did they wipe their memories of that episode?
Can't remember if they like knocked them out or if they wiped their memories, but they didn't have knowledge of it.
Okay, fair enough. So anyway, no, you're having some trouble. The connections are quite complex. However, you've removed this thing's power source, so it's as far as it's right now it's not communicating with anything. It has 0 power to enable it to move. It is pretty much non-functional at this point.
Yeah. Can I take its arms off?
That was kind of what you were trying to do by removing, because all of its tools and everything are in its arms and they're deployed as necessary. But unfortunately, you failed.
Okay.
Yeah, the connections are a bit more complex than you at first thought.
Hesitant to restore any power to it and do something.
Right. Now it appears that its communications array, such as it is in the head-like portion.
I wire into the communications directly.
You can certainly try. That will be control engineering difficulty of 3, and you can be assisted by Harrison and the ship with computers engineering.
Oh, it's always reassuring when the game master says, "Well, you can certainly try."
I get the ship.
Control engineering.
Yes, difficulty 2. No, I think I said 3, didn't I? Yeah, difficulty 3, assisted by the ship, and Harrison can assist as well if he wants.
I mean, assisting him is why I'm down here, so
Yeah.
There's
my meager
1.
assistance.
No help from the ship.
Well, from Harrison.
Okay, yeah, you're having difficulty in directly wiring into the communications array in its head portion. Remember, you've got it is a new scene, so you've only got 4 momentum, but you have some momentum and stuff to spend. You can buy some extra dice if you want, or a threat. Maybe you'll get up to
Really
2
another
cornucopias
so
of
I
destruction.
suggest just getting another die at least for most of this.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, once you get to the point where you can do it, you'll do an extended task to figure it out. But okay.
Default return to home command.
I'm sorry, I missed the first part of that.
Wonder if it has a default return to home command, like a wherever they're stored when they're not. Use it to lead us back.
Do you want to try and investigate that?
Yeah, restore some power to it and see if it is
Right.
programmed to return.
So, are you going to restore power to the entire thing, or
Just to the head?
Okay. Now the head is its primary communications array. Its onboard programming is held in the equivalent of a CPU in its torso. So it has some fairly sophisticated onboard programming and software in. It just also has this control network that's this quantum entangled communications network.
Okay. I want to just power the CPU.
Okay. So give me control engineering difficulty 2.
And I will buy another dice.
Okay.
Tells the robot to return to home. It just walks to the airlock and spaces itself.
Measure its trajectory.
And again, Ship and Harrison can assist. Although this time, you nail it right on the first blow. 1 momentum gained. 2 momentum gained, I'm sorry.
Any help from the ship?
Yep. Computers engineering again.
Okay.
Okay. So still 2 momentum gained. So it looks like you got 1. No, you're capped, I think. Yeah, 4 to 6.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you have powered up and now have access to the basically the CPU. So what are you going to do from here?
See if I can find coordinates.
Okay.
Anything programmed into it.
All right. This is going to be more in the control science line, with computers focus or talent applicable.
Let's see. How competent is Harrison at this?
He is your chief science officer.
Yes.
Yeah, science that is about as good as we're gonna get. I don't have any focuses for it.
I do, but I'm not on the ship.
So
I have computers, but it's not on. I have computers and quantum mechanics, so they both would have applied, but.
True.
Yes.
So, it would be, control science. If you're looking for something pretty specific, so control science difficulty 3.
Sure.
Okay.
This will be assisted by the ship's computer science, and Olos can assist too. However, before anybody rolls, well, come on, roll 20. There we go. I'm going to up the complication range by 2. So complication on all the rolls will be 3.
Oh, Jesus.
Why is that still there? Sorry, guys. Roll20 is just being really weird. I'm going to have to refresh the page again.
Use
Okay.
that momentum, boy.
I am actually going to I'm going to go half and half. 3 threat 3.
3 and 3.
I want to leave momentum open in case a complication pops.
Yeah.
Like that. can get rid of one of them.
On the flip side, you did succeed. The ship also rolled a complication. Okay, so there's 2 complications total on the board right now.
My God.
Okay, yeah, that's everything. So
1 momentum.
2 complications on the board, gained 1 momentum, so you have a total of 4, so you could quash
Okay,
both complications
so
if
let's-
you wanted to.
Yeah, let's kill both complications.
So what do we
Yeah.
do? Just reroll?
Yeah, squash those.
Oh, we do not reroll. We just don't get the comps.
Yeah, you just spend momentum to keep anything bad from happening. For now.
Wait, don't you get to reroll one of the?
I
He did.
don't have anything to reroll with it.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm
he
both
requires
medicine, not science.
Mm.
This character just switched over to science division,
Yeah.
so he doesn't have much for it.
Okay. So let me. I'm already on you.
Made to be a scientist, he was made to be a surgeon.
Damn it, Johan.
Here, though.
I'm a doctor, not a scientist.
I mean, that is a talent you can get or something like that. It's like, I'm a doctor. Damn it,
I know.
not something.
Yeah.
You get like 3 of them.
Yeah.
It's like that. It's,
Doctor,
think
not a
my
bricklayer.
Yeah, my doctor has that one.
My God, Jim, I'm beginning to think I can cure a rainy day.
I love
With the 3 medics I created, I got pretty lucky and I didn't have to worry about other roles very often.
In the Dark Ages.
Wait.
You eat.
Like we were watching this, you just see Harrison just feverishly typing away on a console somewhere. You get the information out.
There you go.
There isn't a oh here kind of request. It seems it's more a transporter request for go home. These also capable of completely mapping has a complete map of the surface of the planetoid, and it is capable of updating it. There is a secondary heavily encrypted level of possible mapping and routing data that I would have to spend a bit more time trying to decrypt.
And with that information drop, we're going to go back up to the bridge and get Merrick started on her task. So
Maybe
Merrick,
you could
what?
You could bring in Kanan for that. She has a focus in cryptography.
So Merrick, what we're going to do with you is a fancy extended task. So let's see, we're going to set this at difficulty 4, magnitude 4, work 22. See if I've done this right. Okay, can you see the bars?
No.
Okay, let me go in and edit the token then. See.
is there any way that Shrell could be helping while on the surface by like being in communicator?
It's the way this is, not really.
Okay.
Yes, as I said, I didn't have time. In future, I'll fill in the little boxes, but Merrick made this for me. Thank you very much. It's awfully cool.
It's with our universe.
You're so
And the let's see, going through records and stuff. So I'm going to make this more sciencey. So this is going to be control science assisted by the ship's computer science. You can get one assist from a supporting character or somebody else if you would like.
Cannon could assist with this.
Okay. If someone wants to grab Ensign Cannon from the supporting characters and play her, she
I
is
shall.
under communications.
Yep.
I got the ship.
Okay.
What do we want to give her?
Has she been used before?
Ah, that's true. Has she been used before?
I don't think she has.
Oh, then this might just be the first time.
Yeah, she's
Okay.
never had to roll. I've used her as a mouthpiece NPC before, but
That's why I was confused. I was like, I'm sure I've seen her doing stuff before. Now she's just never rolled. Okay.
Just taking Eric's slot when she's not there.
History for a focus or archaeology? Well, I don't know if archaeology would.
I would take either one of those because what you are doing is basically going through an archive, and both of those disciplines have a lot of archive work involved.
You know, that is something I wish that there's a way that multiple focuses could help.
So what's the task?
It is control science.
Take 3 threat.
What focuses
Actually-
are we able to use here?
Sorry.
Mhm.
I'm using archaeology or history for a focus currently.
What does canon have? Or canon?
Linguistics.
I'll accept linguistics because some of the older stuff you're definitely having to,
Parse
translate
some
moving
old.
right,
Yeah, parsing
some archaic forms of
really
language
archaic.
and scientific notation. Yeah.
Yeah.
This might be a stretch, but I'd like to spend my determination on nothing better than practical experience.
I'll take it because Merrick has spent a lot of her time outside of Starfleet doing archaeological and historical work in archives, both physical and digital. So this is not new to her.
This isn't her first rodeo.
Exactly. 3 threat.
2 threat. I'm gonna roll 3 dice instead.
Okay. About gave it to you.
We all got one.
Okay, so it looks like 1 momentum gain.
3. Determination
Oh, yeah,
was
right.
2, so it was diff 4. So
Yeah.
Has my roll gone through?
Yes. So you got 5. Yep.
spending 1 to re-roll 4
Okay.
dice. Is there resistance on this?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm new to using the thing. Put a resistance 2.
1 for piercing and 1 for extra work.
Okay.
So it should be at the 5.
So 1, 2, 3. Yep. That's 5. So that is a breakthrough. It goes down to difficulty 3, magnitude 3, and 17 work.
Take 3 threat. Rerolling a 0.
So you hit it. Conan and the ship. There's the
Sorry. Hey.
nice. There's 2 momentum gained.
Give it a moment. Usually takes a second or two for it to
Right.
load on my end.
You're rolling from a hole.
Yep.
Grinning to the bottom of the dice cup.
Come on. Please. Nope. Nothing.
Okay. So 2 momentum gained. Nice. There's 6. You gonna do anything to it?
1 for piercing. So 6 work. Rather be 4.
Okay. Brings it down to 2. And 2. And 11. All right, and then we're going to shift once again. We're going to go to the planet's surface. Into the mind. To Dr. Sorrel. I'm going to kind of take you down here for a moment. So, what are you trying to find out at the medical library?
Just information about their biology and stuff, like how their the physiology, like what the organs are, what they've.
Okay, yeah. So your basic medical information. Do you want to gather enough stuff to be able to treat any member of the species that might come with you? Okay.
That, like I said, that's exactly what I told them. I want to be able to, in case something happens, be able to have my entire staff be able to help her,
Sounds great.
help them at that.
Okay. I'm going to play with how I'm doing this. So your difficulty is going to start at 3. Your magnitude is going to be 3. And your work is going to be 17. Because you are working with, you basically, you can tie your hand scanner into the ship's universal translator, but as you know, not every single language is necessarily fully complete, particularly when it comes to some of the technical language
I
dealing
have linguistics.
right.
So.
That will be an applicable focus, but this is tasks going to have a resistance of 3.
Would any of the be able to make a species, like a help from other species of the species?
I'm sorry, what now?
Would any of the people down there be able to help me by looking through it?
The problem is that some of the stuff you're looking at is a very technical, specialized vocabulary because it's dealing with medicine. That's not necessarily, because you're kind of doing this research yourself, that's not necessarily in the basic linguistic exchange that's going on, because it's a very specific technical terminology. I mean, you'll be able to suss out some of it. So really, the person that could probably help you best with it would be Merrick, but she's on the ship doing her own thing now. But since you're able to tie into the ship's database, you will get an assist from the ship. And you do have 1 momentum, and of course there's always threat to spend to buy some extra dice.
I will.
And this is going to be reason medicine for you.
My 2 best stats. Hey.
Right. So, and I will take you will have a focus that applies at various points. It will be xenobiology. At various points, it will be linguistics. But same old. Yeah.
Yeah, I've both. So I'm like, okay, xenobiology is a good one to have for a science person, especially
Definitely.
especially it applies to even people on the ship, because they're human. I'm a Vulcan.
Right.
it's just a good thing to have. Because it's also about everyone. Then linguistics is another good one.
Definitely.
I'm
So
going
go
to
ahead.
spend that one momentum.
Okay.
Have two that also for draw 4 dice.
Very good.
Help from the ship, or do I have to do that myself as well?
Yep, somebody can grab the ship. That's going to be computer science. Okay, no help, but you definitely made it. You've gained 1 momentum. Roll 7 challenge dice. And if you haven't done that on the sheet before, be sure and hit enter or click out of the box, because otherwise it'll do that. It's just the sheet. There you go. Nice.
Whoa. Piercing, and then well.
Okay, you're doing 11 base, and then it is resistance 3. So you're doing a total of 8 work, which is a breakthrough.
Yeah, what can the effects do for this?
The effects at this point, without any particular talents or anything, don't really mean anything. You have 1 point of momentum. You could spend it for extra work. You could spend it for piercing, but you don't necessarily have to, because you've already gotten a breakthrough with this.
Okay.
Well, an effect does mean 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know
But
if it
Yeah,
meant
but in terms of getting a bonus off of it, unless you
Yeah.
have a talent, it's not going to help.
which I don't. I don't think I do.
Okay, so
I
it's
mean,
gonna.
there is probably something else I probably could do in
Well,
order
if
to
you-
get around it. Is mind meld with one of the other.
I mean, you can certainly
Don't know
find.
their species. You could break your own mind doing that.
Yeah, but
I
you're
could, but I think that gets around the language barrier.
you are certainly welcome to try and convince one of the doctors.
I think that also gets around that language barrier.
So, but at this point, difficulty's gone down to 3. You've got 2 magnitude, 9 work left, and the resistance is still 3.
Take another 2 threat and that 1 momentum. Actually, take 3 threat.
Okay.
So another 4.
Okay, so you made it, and then the ship assists with computer science. Okay, I'll take the first one. So that's 1 momentum gained. Now roll.
Sorry, I didn't see that.
Oh, you're
No,
fine.
I did. We did right about the same time.
Yeah. So 7 challenge dice.
Mhm.
So right now you're doing 3 work.
Mhm. What is it to re-roll the zeros?
You can spend a momentum, or if you spend 1 to resistance, you'll get a breakthrough, because it'll be 5. Either way.
I'll just do resistance then.
Okay, so momentum for resistance. That gets you another breakthrough. Brings the difficulty down to 1, magnitude the same. 4 work left. All right.
Take
And we'll just
yet
go ahead.
another 3 threat. Hey!
So that is a total gain of 4 momentum to this point, and then we need the ship. Okay. There's a complication on the board. You can squash that for 2 momentum.
I'm gonna say we probably should do that.
Okay. So total momentum gain of 2
Mhm.
for a total of 3.
Another 7 transit dice.
Correct. So right now you're doing 2 work. You've got 3 momentum.
Yeah. I will reroll the zeros.
Okay. 1 momentum for a reroll.
Sorry.
Have to redo the
Yeah.
number.
I know I meant to click out, but I forgot about that.
Right.
Yeah.
It's okay. That's 7 base, so you're doing 4.
Piercing?
That will get you up to 6,
Which would be
which will exceed the work track and complete the task.
Yes.
All right. So yes, you have compiled a pretty thorough medical database, which should allow you to reference it and treat any of the 7 species. You won't have any increase in difficulty from them being unfamiliar. It will probably complicate things if you have to do some serious surgery or anything, because you probably, eventually with study, you'll be able to do this pretty well. But if something should happen, like, fairly early on, it might be a little bit more complicated, because you'll find yourself looking back to the database to get the information you need to treat. So, but you've got what you need here.
Yeah.
And with that, we'll come all the way back around to Olos and Harrison in the science labs. Okay, so you guys have just figured out that it's robot come home is please transport me home, mommy, but that it does have an extra heavily encrypted layer that appears to have more location mapping data. So what do you wish to do now?
If we put this thing back on the surface with some kind of tracker that can cut through the radiation or emit some kind of signal, lead us right back to its home.
Certainly a possibility. And remember that you also have seen from orbit, you've got images and locations of places that opened in the planetoid when they were taking the disassembled shuttle inside the surface somehow.
Captain had spoken with me earlier. I think I want to have a conversation with the captain about it.
Okay, there's a comm panel right there.
Olos to the bridge.
Captain is not on the bridge, actually.
Oh, dear.
Wrong.
Wording.
Good, Commander.
Robot has a return to home program involving transport, but if we placed a device on it that we could read against the background radiation, it might lead us right to its home. The map that it has also shows various entrance points, which may lead us we need to go to stop the planet.
Sorry, Chief. What was your last?
Stop the planet. It's kind of a weird phrase, but it is what we're trying to do.
Do whatever you feel is necessary, Chief. If you could get a tracking beacon on it, all the better for us, I think.
All right.
Okay, so what are you doing?
Want to try to install something that we can read against the background radiation, something that emits its own unique signature, and I want to plug it in somewhere out of the robot.
Okay. Yeah, between you and Harrison together, you can come up with something that you can send a signal fairly simply. What was the stuff they put on the back of Kirk?
The tracking patch.
Yeah, but it was
Oh, the subdermal
Or they said
bioprobe.
it-
no. In when they went to
Oh,
Rurapente.
that black square that they put on his shoulder. If you nobody figured it out ever, then nobody would think anything of it on his shoulder
Was
there.
it like a beacon?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I was. If anybody knew the name of what that was, that would be the.
I believe what we're trying to do is create a non-technological way of tracking the robot, because
Right.
any technology we send down there with them will probably be disassembled.
Viridian.
Put it.
Some kind of scent or something that you guys could detect?
Yeah, Harrison, you know that Viridium is easily trackable. But it's passive. In other words, it doesn't send out a signal, but even a little bit of Viridium you can track very easily across very long distances. You would basically just be putting that non-dangerous radioactive, just a piece of it somewhere on the robot, and it wouldn't require any signaling apparatus or anything like that.
Beautiful.
And that was what they used, was a Viridium patch. So yeah, honestly, with that, I'm not even going to require you to make a roll, because you can just stick it on somewhere.
Or we have a small supply of it on the ship somewhere.
Right.
Just reminds me of the bit they did in Star Trek Beyond with the "you gave your girlfriend a tracking device." That was not my intent.
This is really not the first time that Trek has decided, let's put this innocuous thing on them and will lead us to them eventually if we need it. Okay.
All right, so you've got the tracking pad set up on the robot. Is there anything else you wish to do with this device or with the robot?
Want to have it set up so that we can get it off the ship immediately after having hooked it back up.
Yeah, you would need to. Easiest way to do that would probably be the transporter.
Yeah, so I'll probably want to take it and set it up on the transporter pad.
Okay. You had mentioned earlier something about the quantum entanglement. Did you want to do anything with that?
Being that we can figure out where this one goes, and we couldn't read the signal earlier, I could try to look for it again when we get within range of the signal. But it wouldn't be necessary to mess with that signal anymore. If we can track it, we'll be good.
Okay. Suddenly, your console bleeps. The power source you've rigged into the bot is suddenly drawing much more power. A snake-like cable snaps out and interfaces with the computer here as the construct comes to life.
Well, shit.
It does not seem to be concerning itself so much with you. However, it is making multiple connections into the computer system.
Shoot it!
I shut the power to the room down. Is there a panel?
I'm gonna say no. Not
No.
not in the room.
You could call to engineering and shut it out, shut it down from, have them shut it down from there.
I'll try and remove the power source on it like I had been initially. I'm gonna go for its power source.
Okay. The power source is still not there. It has plugged into the ship.
Ah. So it just battery backed up on me.
Yep.
I'm gonna try to contact my engineering
Coming
team.
through the
and have them
door
shut the
is
power
one of
down.
the armed drones that you saw before on the planet's surface.
Oh boy.
Someone calling in to engineering?
Is that the ship's alert noise?
Hold on, let me type something down. God, I can't spell.
Ooh, cat, go.
Just sent you something, Merrick.
Intruder alert. Multiple decks. Engineering. Science lab. Armoring. Security personnel, please report to all stations.
And yeah, that's right. Osborne's not there.
Yeah, Osborne just sneezes. Ugh.
So, so Olos coming through the door is actually two of these drones from the planet service. They are armed.
Oh, rip.
Olos, you want to do anything? Or
Right,
Harrison,
I
you're right
want
there
to-
too.
I want to move towards the other
Okay.
console.
Yeah, it's right there. Okay.
And I'm assuming that I'm armed.
Sure. Phaser
I want to
2.
pull a phaser, point it right dead in the center of the CPU in the back, and I want to fire.
All right. So roll me control security difficulty 2. Are you on a stun setting, or are you
On a
going?
kill.
Okay, that gets me a threat. Although actually, that doesn't really apply to robots. Never mind.
Slag them.
Yep.
They have a value for cool under fire, so I'm not freaking out.
Okay. Okay, so that's a miss. All right. Harrison, well, do you guys... we don't have
What's going on? What happened? I wasn't here.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
The robot you guys were working on suddenly started drawing more power from the thing you'd plugged into its CPU. Then it moved over, plugged itself into the ship's systems to draw power from there, and is now plugged into the computer doing Lord knows what. Intruder alert sirens started sounding. 2 of the armed drones from the planet's surface just came through the door. Olos drew a phaser and tried to shoot the one you were working on, but he missed. You guys actually do not have enough momentum to keep the initiative. Olos is kind of out of sight, so this one is going to take a shoot at Harrison.
Jesus.
So it takes a shot, but the built-in disruptor in its arm suddenly sparks and flares, and that arm just falls limp at its side. So it goes back to you.
Okay. So one of them, the arm that it's shooting with is now limp.
Yeah, these things have like the weapons are built into their arm pieces, and when it tried to fire at you, instead, something blew in that arm, and it rolled a complication, so it blew its weapon.
Okay.
The other one is still fully functional.
Okay. Has anybody been alerted on the ship as to what the nature of this is going on?
You have heard the alert sirens going off.
So the only thing that anybody knows is that there is something happening on the ship.
You don't know you're not on the bridge,
Okay.
but you do know that
I was asking if either Olos had said anything, had called up to the bridge to say that
No.
this was...
He did not have a chance, but the
Report came in that they're on multiple decks.
Right, but you guys didn't hear that because you were not on the bridge.
Okay.
So it's your turn. One of these appears to be, at least one of its weapons is down. The other one, however, is still perfectly functional.
I'm going to assume that the rest of the ship knows that this is happening, and I'm going to aim at one that is still aiming its weapon at us.
Do that one.
I'm going to aim for his chest. That's my minor action, and then I'm going to fire.
Okay. Put a red dot to show that one's come disabled.
Gonna shoot to kill.
Yes. After our experiences on the planet, it is shoot to kill.
Control security difficulty 2.
I'm going to end momentum for an extra die. Damn it.
Okay, you missed as
You get
well.
to re-roll one.
To reroll one. That's good.
Okay.
Yeah, because I aimed.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Oh, ho, ho.
I miss. And or hurt myself.
And
Okay.
Yeah, I can't do anything for the red 0. I have to take that.
Yep. So,
All
your
of a sudden-
phase pistol malfunctions. Roll me a challenge die, a single challenge die.
Single
All of
challenge
a
die?
sudden,
Okay.
What
all of a sudden,
happened to the full momentum I gained from my last task?
Was used apparently.
No, I gained 2. Sorry, I totally gained 2, which I don't think we used it. So far, I don't think we ever used it.
Hmm.
Okay, and you hit a. I have a challenge dice roller, so you got an effect.
'Cause
all of a
I
sudden,
can't-
Osborne is really angry and he doesn't know why.
No. Oh yeah,
So you
right.
take 3 stress as your phaser, your phase
I didn't use it.
pistol blows. I mean, it doesn't explode like an overloaded phaser, but it
Gotta blow
sparks
back
and
to it.
snaps, and and you take 3 stress. So with that, we're going to go to the bridge for a moment. Okay. Pretty much the work done on that task is lost because you're interrupted with the intruder alerts.
Report.
Ellison says, "We've got an intruder on multiple decks. Sir, it looks like those robots from the planet. Looks like in each section we've got at least one of the Takea party kind, and 2 of the and 1 of the soldier kind. So you can either move player characters these different places, or support characters and try to do it that way, or you can have someone roll a presence security difficulty 3 to dispatch security teams to handle the various intruders."
I could probably do that.
Okay.
Team dynamics for a focus.
But the complication range is going to be 3. I will accept team dynamics.
All right. What do I have here? I should really see what all my stuff does here. What the hell is crisis management do?
Someone should probably call down to this office.
Crisis management gives you 2 access to the directs twice.
Oh, cool.
Or if you don't have it, it gives you access to it.
Right. But you're the captain, so.
Yes. Can I use a determination with my value? If diplomacy doesn't work, a phaser will.
Not really. What else you got?
Protocols will keep you and your crew out of trouble.
That I'll take, because that's what you're doing. You're using, you're directing security teams to carry out their orders, and that's the protocols for intruder control.
Cool. I'll go ahead and use the momentum and a threat to get that 3rd.
Okay.
Sweet. I also have veteran, so I'll go ahead and roll for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So it looks like you gained 1 momentum out of that.
Get that determination train rolling.
So I also had a determination, so this was 6 successes.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. So you actually gained 3 momentum. So, okay, yes, security teams are being dispatched. Ellison comes up and says, "Captain, the security teams are being fairly effective at taking out the intruders, but every time they take one out, another one gets beamed aboard. Something's directing them here or calling them here." And with that, we go back down to science labs. Where last we left Harrison, I believe we're at the top of the round, actually. So they went, no, you went last, so they go first. This one's going to come in and turn, and it's going to attack Olos in melee.
Maybe spend a momentum, Olos.
What's that?
Maybe spend a momentum, Olos.
And momentum that let me dodge it.
No, it's melee attack is an opposed thing, and the winner gets to inflict damage.
And there's this high frequency, rapidly vibrating blade that snaps out of its forearm. It rolled a 2, daring security.
Weapons.
So you need to give me a daring security. You need to get 2 or better. Hopefully
Use that
better.
momentum.
You have 3 momentum on the board.
I will
I'd
spend one
suggest
momentum for
leaving
an extra
2 of them.
dice.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what was that, Olos?
1 momentum for an extra dice.
Okay.
Ooh.
You got any kind of reroll? Or do you want to spend a determination to reroll?
I will spend 1 determination to reroll.
Okay, you can reroll 2. Well, you can reroll as many as you want, but I'd suggest rerolling at least the 2 zeros.
What value?
Yeah, what value?
Must justify your roll.
Best offense is a good defense.
Oh yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Ick.
Ooh. You have veteran or anything?
Oh.
Okay. You
Challenge of value.
are you? If
That's
you,
what he just did.
No.
No,
Oh.
he didn't. You can challenge a value,
Alright.
which means you strike out 1 and you'll rewrite it later. It'll have to do something to do with this situation. Or if you have a saved milestone, you can use
I'll
that.
strike cool under fire.
Fair enough.
That gives me another 2.
Yeah, you can re-roll those 2 again if you want. Okay, so it's a tie at that point. Yeah, this thing swings down this long, rapidly high-frequency vibrating blade, and you manage to block it, but it's still trying to push down, and so you're both kind of, nothing really happens. You're both just kind of there. You can at this point choose to succeed at cost, which means you can win this melee encounter, but there will be a complication of some sort.
Ooh. Right. I'll take the complication.
Okay, so roll me your unarmed damage. Okay. So,
Doesn't seem right.
oh yeah, you are missing a die. You should be rolling.
I should be rolling 3.
Yeah.
Hey.
Let me look at your sheet real quick.
It might be roll 20.
Yeah, could very well be.
You're probably gonna have to re-input the melee damage, because normally when it has this problem, that's normally it with the weapon. You just have to re-input the number and hit enter.
Yeah,
I
try
mean,
that.
for now, I just roll one more die because you rolled pretty good right there.
Yeah, I'll just take this roll a challenge die by itself.
Did roll a challenge die?
Yep, just one challenge die. Because you should be rolling 3 instead of 2, so we'll just, since that was such a good roll, we'll add it to that. Yep, you got to remember to click out of the box or hit enter before you press the roll.
Thought I did.
Try it again.
There you go. So, nice.
And that would also knock it to the ground.
So, you swing and manage to connect pretty good, and it is knocked down.
How much damage did it take?
Total of 4, because you don't have vicious or anything.
Because you could probably spend 1 to give it an injury.
Yeah, that's true. You could spend momentum and knock it down.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that.
Mind you, guys.
Okay.
You're close to the time. We're close to 5 o'clock.
Yeah, I'm aware. So
Okay.
yeah, you swing it in. The complication is the arm you're blocking with is the one that was unarmed. So when you hit it, you're hitting it with your phase pistol, and you just with a punch, you're not even thinking. And when the phase pistol connects, it cracks and its power core shorts out the robot, and it's down. But your phase pistol is now useless.
All right.
So the other one is going to take a shot at Harrison.
Isn't it back to them because the robot went?
Oh yeah, you're right. Sorry with that exchange. Thank you, Prax. Yeah, so it's your turn. Either one of you. Neither of you is gone. You've got the maintenance or whatever bot plugged into the computer system doing whatever, and then you've got the other one still moving around. And at this point, neither of you has a phaser or a phase pistol.
Harrison, shoot it.
What? You expect Harrison to do without a phase pistol? I don't know what you're saying Harrison do it for.
Charge?
Oh.
Either one of you
Target?
can go. Either one of you can go.
Oh,
I
I
don't-
didn't realize. Oh, you both lost your phase pistol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Damn you guys.
So who wants to go? We are kind of short on time.
I
think Ola should go and try to disable the worker bot.
am going to melee attack the worker bot. I'm going to use the Ushan there. I'm going to give you a threat and buy another dice.
Okay. So that's daring security. It is opposed, although this thing doesn't really. Yep. So roll your damage.
And I think we gained some momentum out of that, actually.
Yeah, you actually gain 2.
So melee attacks have a difficulty
Yeah.
of 1.
Okay, so you gain 1. That damage is incorrect. You should be rolling with the Ushan. Do you have the Ushan entered on your sheet?
Yes.
So yeah, it looks like you rolled with your unarmed damage. So roll the Ushan.
That is weird also, because for me that's that's 4.
That's the weapon is the bladed weapon.
Okay, I think I fixed it.
It's the weapon's base damage.
Spaced, it should be 2. Yeah, roll it again.
With the arm strike.
Should be it. No. Yeah.
Sorry, that was me rolling. I was testing all of his. Don't mind my.
Okay, so roll your Ushan Tor now, Olos. Nice.
That's got vicious.
So yeah, you just go in and you just destroy its CPU, and on the upswing, you put the pointed in right into its communications array on its head. And this one, as soon as you do that, this one just kind of collapses.
Oh, thank God.
And on the bridge, Captain, you get reports of, no more teleporting in, and all the ones that were still active just collapsing.
Let's figure out where they came from.
All right. And since that is 4:54 p.m., I'm going to go ahead and call this to be continued once again.
Do it.
Got a very good stop